What's going on, everybody? How's it going, Discord community? Welcome back to Behind the Bench. This is episode 51. I'm your host, Neil, Irish Flyers Collector, here on Discord and over on Instagram. Appreciate you joining me today and spending some time watching the show. So it's time for another one of our sit-down interview episodes. And as usual, we're talking with one of our fellow Gong Show Discorders. One of the interesting things about Discord is that after a while you start to recognizing certain names, and not because they're necessarily the loudest or the most intriguing person in the room or the most silly person in the room or whatever, but because they're consistently around and contributing to the conversations, sharing content, sharing the hobby, and helping kind of shape our community. Well, today's guest is one of those people. I've seen his name around for quite a while now, and I've enjoyed his comments and his posts, and I've always thought like he'd be somebody that I'd like to sit down and chat with. So let's make that happen. Please help me welcome here. Let me pull him into the show. Panther Jay, real name, surprise, surprise, is Jay. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it.
Well, awesome. So, like I said, you've always been, a contributing member to the community. So, thanks for that, because I think we all do it together and help build it. The guys from the Gong Show started it, but at this point, it's all on the sweat and the brow, on the sweat of our brow and the pain in our backs that we all contribute. And you're definitely one of the heavy contributors. So, it's great to finally meet you and see you in person and kind of be able to talk together. So,
Yeah, you too, Neil. I when I got into Discord a while back now, I said, this is something I'm not going to be a passenger. So,
cool.
I mean, so many things on social media. You scroll, doom scrolling, all that stuff. So you're not part of the conversation here in Discord. It's great because you can contribute. You have something to say. We're all talking about hockey cards. It's not it's pretty much everybody has the same likes in Discord. I mean, obviously everybody hobbies differently, but we all like hockey cards. So it's very easy to get along with people. And you don't get a lot of arguments like you do on other social media platforms.
Yeah,
So
no, it's great.
yeah, that's everybody gets along, right? So I mean, I love it. Every day we talk about it. I go to Discord daily, and I want to post something or see how one of the people that I interact with, what they're doing or how they're collecting and what they were able to obtain or get or a card or something like that. So I love it.
Yeah, it's great. We get, we all get to share our wins. We get to celebrate wins with other people and friends. So, that's definitely one of the awesome things about the community. So, you've shared your story before, or generalities in the past, but let's kind of start at the beginning of like how you first started getting into collecting hockey cards.
Well, hockey cards is different for me. I mean, I started collecting when I was very young, but I collected strictly like baseball, a little bit of basketball and football, but mostly baseball. And that
What
was
era are we talking?
what era are we talking? We're talking 80, 81, 82,
Okay. All
because I
right.
was born in 71. I'm
Okay.
54. Um, so I say my father and my brother also got into the hobby together. My dad didn't collect. He just, took us to shows and
He
did
was the
stuff like that.
source. It's the
Exactly.
bankroll.
It was the income. So, you would buy a whole set of tops for $20, $30, and he'd be negotiating the price with the guy. So I collected that, probably through the mid 80s, junk wax and that kind of stuff. I still have a lot of the tops baseball that I collected in that time. But then I just stopped collecting, for a long time. And then I got back into collecting. Let's see, I moved down to, I originally from Ohio. So I live in Florida now. I live in South Florida. So I moved down here in 98, and I moved about a mile and a half from the Panthers arena.
Okay.
So I instantly became a Panthers fan. And, so I loved hockey. I had a son at that time. A daughter came later. and took him to games, tried to get involved in that. And around somewhere around like the late teens, 2018, 19, started getting into hockey cards. Jack Hughes was from Florida. You know,
Mm.
it was something that I really liked Jack Hughes, and he's coming into the league. I got some of his cards, and then I got into hockey, and then it just snowballed from there.
Hey,
And,
that's good.
we got
It's all
serious.
been downhill from that.
When I moved down here in '98, and between '98 and say 2010, the Panthers were terrible. I mean, they were good for a couple of years, but I mean, they were really pretty bad. So I wasn't really collecting Panthers cards per se during that time frame. But when 2019 and 18, 19 came around, I missed like the McDavid and the Crosby and Ovechkin kind of stuff. But you can always go back and kind of collect that stuff.
Mhm.
So I started with more of the ultra modern stuff, which is now, but I still have a lot of older stuff in my collection,
Okay.
and so from 18, 19 through the pandemic, through everything now. And the pandemic was tough because, like I said, I live in South Florida, and there's no hockey cards in South Florida. I
Mm.
mean, you go to a shop and they're lucky to have one or two boxes, zero
Okay.
singles, So if you want to trade or you want to buy, it's all done over the internet. So, then around that time, or early 2020, I probably got into e-pack. So I did a lot of e-pack in that time. Well, even up there now, I'm still heavy in the e-pack on Discord, because it's still, challenging to get products sometimes,
Right.
so living down here, it's not like I can go to my local shop and trade with 10 guys, and if
Mhm.
you do find a show, it's TCG, it's baseball, they may have one table of hockey if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And the last show I went to was funny. The guys, I kept asking, "You got hockey? You got hockey?" And my daughter collects with me too, so she was like asking around if they had hockey, and she's like, "Nobody's got hockey." And I'm like, Then the guys are saying, "Well, we really should have brought more hockey. Everybody's asking about it because I mean the Panthers were just coming off winning the cup twice, and they don't have any hockey at the show."
You think?
They said if I brought Panthers cards, I would have sold out. And I'm like, well, you figure it
I've
out. People
I've
want them.
noticed that same type of thing here when we have the Philly show. It was a lot of same type of thing, and a bunch of vendors said the same exact thing. Man, I wish I'd have brought more hockey. And I'm like, and now
Exactly.
it's getting better, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
they can't bring everything, but
And now I know the guys that sell hockey here, and it's
Mhm.
the same two guys every show. So I'm like, you get anything new in your inventory? No.
Yeah, yeah.
You got
So
any
you get in there.
Barkov? Okay. Let me see what you
So
got.
so when you jump back in the late 18s in 2018, 19, that era,
Yeah.
was it basically did you have any guidance, or did you just kind of tap
No,
into your old, you know,
none,
none? You just kind
none.
of tapped into it and kind of stumbled and stubbed your toe and
I
tripped
made
and
I made so many mistakes, and we talked earlier. I'm going to show you some stuff I got, and
yeah.
I made so many mistakes when I jumped in because when I collected back in the '80s, there was none of these cards that they have now. You
Mm-mm.
know,
Nope.
it's a piece of cardboard with a team and a picture.
Yep.
And there's no autographs, there's no there's no stick cards, there's
It
no
was
custom
rookie card
cards.
or bust, man. That was
Yeah,
it.
it's a rookie card or that's it. So
Mhm.
I got back in, and then the first couple years, I started pulling like rookie sweater cards, SP Game Used stuff,
Oh, nice.
2019, McKinnon stuff,
Yeah.
all the good guys I knew in the league. But I start collecting these things. I buy all the nice rookies that I liked, even, I mean, McDavid, from 15. And I
Yeah.
buy all this stuff and I'd be like, it's not worth anything. Nobody wants a sweater card that just has a blank piece of sweater, you
The
know,
napkin patch.
the napkin patch, exactly. And then I would pick up a couple sets, like just going to eBay and buying singles. Okay. And I did some stuff from like McDavid's rookie year.
Mm.
I didn't really want to collect McDavid, but it was Connor McDavid, the best player in hockey.
Yeah.
So outside of collecting those Panthers things that I got, I would grab like some McDavid stuff. So then I started collecting some of the stuff that was affordable on eBay. I ended up with all the lenticular full force models. I have a whole
Nice.
set. I have the whole set of the lenticulars, including the, McDavid. I mean,
Yeah.
half the people probably haven't even seen this card,
Yeah.
or know what full force is, but I collected all that stuff. So I made a ton of heirs,
Yeah.
collecting, and I still have a lot of the stuff. I didn't get rid of it because it's just part of my collection, part of my journey into collecting, you
Mhm.
know. So then I went from collecting those rookies to saying, hey, I should collect some of these better players, Ovechkin, Crosby,
Mhm.
So at the beginning, it was like sweater cards and young guns, and then I moved on from there.
Moved on and learned as you've been evolving and
Exactly.
go from
I
there.
mean, and I still got a bunch of young guns,
Mhm.
in that time. And, I got a bunch of Jack Hughes, probably 6 or 8. And,
Mhm.
of course I bought, the Crosby's. I actually had these both graded, and, they both 10, the
Yeah.
Crosby and the McDavid. So,
Nice.
I bought these. I bought this from a guy. He sold me a whole set of 0506. This is back in 2018, a whole set, master set with all the base and everything for like $700, And
Jeez.
now this card's worth alone in a 10 is probably, $3,000 card. And I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the Ovechkin and 2000 something. I don't know. I mean, I'm not selling it. So,
No, don't.
um,
Yeah, yeah, you're like, "I got my stuff."
but at that time, so then I started to work backwards, and then
Mhm.
okay, I saw into the hobby a little bit through social media and stuff. Okay, what is everybody collecting? Okay, and it seemed like autos, So then I
Mhm.
went through like an auto phase, and it was like collecting all the future watches and all the other stuff like that. So, I've really kind of evolved and stuff. And I
Mhm.
even bought a Gretzky rookie. I
Mhm.
bought it on eBay. Okay, it was a tops, and then I went and graded it, and I got a 5 on it. It wasn't great, but it's a nice card, And I bought it rare. I bought it raw,
Right.
And I was asking the guy. I said, "Well, uh, is it it's not a fake. It's not a this." I even bought a bunch of 79s to compare it to the size, the
Mhm.
font, and like just comments,
Yeah, yeah.
So and
You
that
gotta
one
put the
worked
time and
out. Other
investment
things
in there.
haven't worked out, but you know how it goes. So
Yeah.
I made all those mistakes when I started back in 1819, and I think I've evolved into a decent collector now. I mean,
All about the self-education. Don't make mistakes. We just take ourselves and make sure
exactly,
we
exactly.
learn. There's
But yeah,
pieces
I
and
mean,
moments where you're gonna learn something.
I collected stuff that it's probably still worth $10 now. I bought it for $10. It's still worth $10. It's not. I don't collect for like the monetary value of the cards.
Mhm.
However, I mean, none of us are immortal. At one time,
Right.
somebody's going to liquidate our cards. And I don't want to have a bunch of stuff that they're going to say, let's just throw it in the trash. I like them to say, hey,
Yeah.
I can do something with these or sell these down the road. And, dad collected these. I'll keep these special ones and I'll get rid of the rest and sell them,
Yeah, it's
So,
a matter of having an exit strategy. It's funny, that's one of the future episodes that I'm kind of mulling over and formulating is
it's a great one.
you gotta discuss the exit ramp strategy.
Listen, on that, I mean, EPAC's a big platform. How many people, significant others and everything else don't even know they're logged into EPAC? So if something happens to
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
what are they going to do with all those cards? They sit in dead accounts, and there's more and more dead accounts, and all those cards are sitting at COMC.
yep,
So
yeah.
so
So let me
it,
take a step back for a second and let me
yeah, sure.
I'll touch on the nostalgic factor of just when you were younger. Did you have a prized card? And it doesn't have to be hockey, of course. I mean, a prized card where you, as that kid collecting, where it was like you had it in the binders or you had it in the top loaders and whatever, where you were like, oh, I love this card. This was my youth.
75 George Brett.
Okay.
Yeah, still have it.
Yeah.
I mean, when we collected, my brother was kind of Reggie Jackson and some of the Yankees, and I was George Brett. I don't know. I just liked him, how he
Yeah.
played baseball, and always had a dirty uniform. He was a character.
Had a
He was
dirty
like,
bat,
exactly, the pine tar.
big
So
old wad of chew.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that was my card, and I still
Mhm.
have it to this day, and it's probably in terrible condition. I mean, it's in a binder somewhere in this office, but it's probably like if I grade it, it's probably like a PSA 2, or
Yeah,
something
right.
like that.
Yeah.
but it was my card, and I wasn't ever getting rid of that. In college, when I needed some money, sold some of the baseball cards, stuff like that.
Kept that.
Never got rid of the bread.
Did you pack pull it, or did you just acquire it, or what? Do you
No, I
remember?
got it at a show.
At a
Yeah,
show? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I got it at a
Cool.
show. So I did
And you
not pack.
still got it?
Yeah, so
Nice.
I still got it, but I got it, probably within 2 or 3 years of it being a rookie because I was a 75. I was a
Mhm.
little young in 75, so
Yeah.
I got it around 78, 79, something like that. So
Okay,
I was 7 or 8 years old. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So, okay, now let's take it a step forward.
Okay.
What was it about? So you became a hockey fan. What was it about hockey cards that hooked you? Was it just the connection of the fact that you liked the
I
sport
love
now that you were
hockey.
down in Florida, and then you always had that you could tap that old collector?
Exactly. I loved hockey I used to go to games in Ohio, but there wasn't a professional team in Columbus when I lived there.
Yeah.
And now they have the Blue Jackets. So we were always either rooting for the Penguins or Detroit or, yeah, sorry about that. I know Philly's a little far from Columbus, but
Yeah, I get you.
you
I'm
understand.
good.
But they had
I
some
give
minor
you
league teams there, like the Chill and stuff like that. And I used to go to games all the time there, but I didn't have a professional team. And then when I came here, I got season tickets, and I've had those up until this year, and it's just been phenomenal. And I loved hockey, and then that collection nostalgia kind of grew back, and then everything from 18, 19 up through 20, prior to the pandemic, cards were really coming back on the upside.
Mhm.
And people were like, "Oh, collecting's cool again," um, and the upper decks of the world and tops and all those panini, they noticed, they started making a lot more cards, so there's more brands, more cards, and just got back into it, and some of the first rookies I collected, were Jack Hughes and chasing Lafreniere and doing stuff like that, and I just loved it as soon as I got back in, and haven't stopped since.
It's amazing how quick we can fall right back into it again, isn't
Exactly.
it? Those
I mean,
old
something
habits,
that I
those old
loved when I was
urges.
12 years old,
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly. It gets
54, and
gets that nostalgic feeling.
yeah. And the other part of it was my daughter. My daughter was born in 2011,
Mhm.
and so she's like 15, going on like 30 right now. So, but has a love for hockey. Now she plays. She plays with the Junior Panthers, and she started collecting with me. So when I say I started collecting with her. I tried with my son. He didn't like it. Here's a card, and he's like, "Yeah, cool, Dad. Does it say anything on the back?" And I'm like, "Well, it has stats on the back." Yeah, cool. Walks
All
back out
right.
of the room.
Well, well,
Didn't like it, but my daughter loved to rip cards, loved to chase an auto, loved to do all the stuff that I loved about it. Now, she's 15. Will she love that in 3 years? No, she won't. She'll love
right.
boys more than anything else. But, for that time period from when she was 8 until now, we've had a real good relationship, surrounding the cards. And she loves the young guys, of course,
Mhm,
the Porter Martones, the
mhm.
Zegras, all the young guys, you know,
Celebrinis
Field,
and
Celebrini, Bedard, all the
yeah, yeah.
young boys that are like 18, 19, 20 years old. She notices all them. So when the new crop comes out, she's like, okay, who we chasing as a rookie now? Oh, and when going through the Panthers game, she got to meet a bunch of these players come up,
Mhm.
like Misa and Schaefer. They had them down at the games during the cup run and stuff like that. So she's got pictures with all these, better pictures than I have. She just walks up, "Hey, can I get a selfie with you?" And a young teenage girl, gets a picture
Yeah.
with Porter Martone or Matthew Schaefer or Michael Misa. And I'm like,
Yeah.
amazing,
You're
amazing.
like, "Gee, okay. Can you
Yeah,
get that?"
I'm like, I'll be the one taking the picture, I guess, or
Yeah,
something.
right. You're like,
Picture with a
"Oh, hey,
54-year-old guy.
hey, Matthew, me next?"
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Can I go next? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not that guy. So
Yeah, really. So,
So
um
that got me
okay.
back into collecting with her as well. So that's another thing that got me into collecting the modern cards as well.
Cool.
Yeah,
So with obviously we're both Discord members
yeah.
and active in the Discord and the Gong Show community. How did you stumble across the Gong Show? And what's your
Okay.
preferred content consumption?
My content consumption is 100% podcast, and I'll tell
Okay.
you why. Because I drive my daughter to school and I live in South Florida. I'm sure Philly traffic sucks too, but
Mm.
I mean, it's bad. So I'm in the car like an hour, hour and a half a day because I work in Miami. I live in Fort Lauderdale. It's not far, it's 40 minutes. And she goes to school up there. So I'm constantly in the car. So I was listening to a podcast. I'm not gonna trash anybody else's, but it was terrible. It was a hockey podcast. And I just started going through Spotify and I saw this thing come up, Hockey Cards Gong Show. I think it was around episode 12.
Mm.
And I clicked it on, and the old school podcast with just the two of the guys, and
Mhm.
Josh and
Troy.
Troy. Yeah,
Yep.
name escapes me now. But I love,
OG Troy.
yeah, OG Troy. And I loved it. So then I just lurked for a while, and then finally he was always asking for, Patreon and all this. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
just join if you
why am
want
I
to.
not doing this? And and my daughter gets a kick out of it when my name's on the radio, when they do a question and
Question.
answer or a hot take or something like that. And I'll be driving her to school. She's like, Dad, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So she's like, you should be on the podcast. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't say that, but
Yeah,
maybe we'll do that one day. So
that's cool. Yeah,
right.
and it's
Yeah.
very similar. Searching for hockey card content. I had friends that did content and
Mhm.
stumbled across them very early and kind of was endeared to them and their nature. And but it was definitely easy early on. I'm like, if I can't throw Patreon, if I can't throw them
Yeah.
$5 a month for $60 for the course of the year, then what the hell? I shouldn't be in the hobby.
Yeah,
Just
I
to kind
know.
of
It's
you
like
know
I was kicking
enjoy the
myself right
community.
into it sooner.
Yeah, the community is awesome about it. So, um, cool. No, I didn't realize you were that long, and I have to tip the hat to a fellow old OG podcaster. It seems like
Yeah.
everybody nowadays does the YouTube version of it, and
Well, I
they're
can't.
fantastic.
I can't because I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Then when I get to work, what I will do is occasionally the guys will forget to give, like, they're showing a card and occasionally they'll forget. And I know Phil's pretty good about it. He always says, okay, for the good listener. And he'll say, this is a 1920 Sidney Crosby, whatever. But sometimes they're talking about a card for like 2 minutes. I'm like, what the hell card is this? Because I'm listening
Yeah,
to it. They're used to most of the people doing, but
yeah.
I consume it 100% via the podcast, and I love it.
Cool,
Do it any
cool,
other
cool,
way.
cool.
Yeah.
So, how about let's go back to you as a collector. So, was there a point
Yeah.
where you kind of felt you noticed the collecting stopped being just like a phase and started becoming kind of a part of who you are? Because sounds like you're there. You're at that. It's part of you and your fiber. So, did you remember like feeling that point when that kind of change and shift happened?
Probably around 21, 22 when I started chasing like some real rookies for serious. Like they had for the Panthers, they had Spencer Knight and Anton Lundell and things like that. And I started really, I never been like a player collector, although when I started, I kind of did. I did Jack Hughes, I did Quinn Hughes, I did Carter Verhaeghe. Who collects for Carter Verhaeghe? Nobody. I'm the guy, sitting here with the limited logos of Carter Verhaeghe. And so I mean, I collected him, and
Yeah.
then I was like, I have more enjoyment than just collecting one person. I like
Mhm.
really good looking cards. So then I started branching into what we talked about, with the autographs and stuff. And I said, boy, these autographs are really the way to go and the way to collect. So when I started doing that, I still collected the rookies, but then I would throw in some vets in there and a couple. Now I'm doing a lot of, short print stuff, like seems like a lot of people are.
Mm.
But, that's probably around 22, 21, 22 is when I really kind of got serious into it.
Cool. No, that's good. A good
Yeah.
good transition. Plenty of time to get your feet wet and get into it. And that's when you're like, yeah, that's. I think it was about the same thing for me. About 2 years in,
Yeah.
when I was like, okay, this is now a thing.
Well, the
It's
first few
full
years you're
fledged
just
thing.
swimming. You're just swimming because you're
Yeah.
just grabbing things and you're like, I don't know if I really like this or
Yeah.
is this the way to collect? You
Mhm.
find out later there's no set way to collect, but when you
Mm-mm.
start again, you're like, okay, what's everybody got? So you're
However
like,
you want.
yeah. So then you're like, okay, I got this. What do you have? And
Yeah.
now I get some weird stuff too sometimes, but now I'm okay with it, because I still get the things that I want, you know.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about you as a collector today, what you've kind of evolved into. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you're like the potpourri collectors. You're not focusing on certain players or teams
No, I mean,
necessarily.
I still collect, I'm sorry to interrupt. I
No,
still
just saying you
collect a
collect a lot
lot
of
of
variety.
Panthers. Yeah, I still collect a lot of Panthers.
Okay.
But I still like to chase the rookies like everybody else does, and right now I'm figuring out how to get Beckett Seneca cards, I mean, got a copperheads. I got a couple copperheads. I got a liquid gold. The EPAC stuff has been great for me because I can pick up a lot of the stuff that's not local here, and get that kind of stuff. Not that the copperheads are there yet, but you still have to go to eBay for that stuff. But you know, um, I really, I would say about 2 years ago, I collected almost solely Future Watch and like Cup cards,
Mm.
and
They're
when
safe.
yeah, when I say Future Watch, I mean I collected. I don't know. I mean, I might be the only guy, but I like all the retros.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
like
out of
that.
25. That's a retro out of 25. And then, I love this 13 design on the 23 stuff with Logan Cooley.
Yeah.
And then I just picked this one up on eBay after I did a big slab shark sale because this was
Nice.
expensive, you know. But this is out of 99. The regular one's out of 9.99. And I still collect the regular ones like Kachuk and stuff, but I really like the stuff that is it's not worth as much, but I like it as short printed more. So a lot of the retros, and then I did a lot of the cup cards, but I'd have to buy them, either through a break or through secondary market, and I would gravitate toward the stuff with like cool patches. I
Okay.
mean, I showed you the Verhage, but like anything that I got in limited logos, I like a
Nice.
lot. But sometimes, and then Logan Cooley and Splendor. So I like the
Nice.
Splendor and the limited logo stuff, and of course the Cup RPAs. But um,
Awesome.
so I did that for a couple years, and now I say um, I might even like metal and stuff and O-Pee-Chee Platinum more now, because now I see a lot of the numbered stuff and a lot of the rare stuff in metal that I really like coming out, and it's not all just patch auto and auto from Future Watches.
Yeah, it's very insert driven. Very
Yeah,
much.
it is. So I like
Very.
those insert. The guys on the Gong Show talk about it all the time, and there's really some really cool cards, and I think some of those in like 10 to 15 years are going to be really, big cards. And just, I mean, just recently, it was funny. I picked up two Playmakers Theater cards from
Mm.
the old Fleer. I think Fleer is it? Yeah, and then Phil
Yeah.
starts talking about it like two episodes later on the Gong Show, and I'm like, "Oh, cool! I just got two of those." So some other people like those now. So now I'm doing more of that stuff and probably less of the patch auto stuff. And then I still go back and get like the older stuff, like Barkov's rookie year. I went back and got a bunch of National Treasure stuff,
Nice.
and I collected a bunch of that
Little
stuff. And
beanies.
then, yeah, his rookie stuff. And
Mhm.
then I just recently was able to get a cracked ice prism, and I think that was
Oh,
a
nice.
Expo original, So
Yeah,
I
it's one of
still go
those
back now.
expos.
Exactly, but I still go back now and collect that stuff that was a little harder to get, and not all the future watches out of 9.99 and all the young guns. I mean, I still break wax and pull out the young guns, but now if I'm really looking to collect, I'm looking for something a little bit more unique,
Mhm.
So I
What
do
would you
collect a lot of different things.
guesstimate would be the biggest shift you've taken in your collecting habits?
The biggest shift would be um, probably moving more from wax into buying more singles of cards that I want
Okay.
because not that I could get a lot of wax here, but you can order from Dave and Adams or you
Sure.
can have some friends in
Oh,
Canada.
the Death Star as recently.
Exactly, and I got friends in Canada, and one's a breaker, and he can give me whatever wax I want. So I used to
Right.
open a lot more wax. That's why I had a very big variety of different cards. But now I'm like, well, I only like these 5 cards, so I'm opening the whole box. And like this last extended series, I just kind of tapped out on it, and I said, I'm not going to buy a case of that. We've been doing cases, my daughter and I, for the last 5 years, series one, series two, series one, series two. And I tapped out. I said, it hasn't gotten fun for me. The odds of
Mhm.
me getting one of those debut patches is not very good. And I'm
Yeah.
paying double what I was before and getting a bunch of cards that are going into a box. So I
Yeah.
want to collect them.
Yeah, I hear
So,
you. I was a little disappointed in the price point, but you
yeah.
know,
It's everything,
I'm not
man.
I'm not chasing those patches. I think that some of them are. Now, granted, I do like the fact that Upper Deck did the tiered approach. With the MLB version of it and the NFL version of it,
Yeah.
it's shield or bust. With the NHL version, they did a tiered approach. There's the napkin patch, there's the two pieces of jersey swatch, there's a piece of patch, and then there's that tag that's in the bottom of the jersey. So I
Yeah.
like that they did that tiered approach. I think that Gail helps create different price points, and we're not all chasing the Willy Wonka golden ticket, right?
Exactly. Everybody's not chasing
We're
one
not
card.
chasing that Paul Skeens card that's now sitting at Dick's Sporting Goods and wherever.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
nobody gets that. So
Yeah.
so
No, I
yeah,
think Upper Deck did the right thing. It's just to me, 200 whatever it is, 250 in the U.S. for flagship is it's
a little
ludicrous. I
steep,
mean,
a little
it
steep.
is. I mean, I can buy a couple boxes of something else for that, and that's scary. I
Yeah,
mean, it is. There's still SP Authentic, or not SP Authentic, but there's still metal on EPAC that's $129 or $120. I mean, I don't want to buy one box of flagship if I can buy 2 boxes of that. So
right.
it is a little different collecting through EPAC, but that's a necessary evil for where I'm living. I'm not in Toronto, not in Montreal. You know,
Yeah. So
so
would you say it's fair to say that if I were to look at your collection from 5 years ago, and then can kind of, well, maybe a little longer, but compare it to today, would you would see this change and transition in the way that you
yeah,
collect? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you would look from about 7 years ago, you would have seen all the jersey cards and the Young Guns. But now there's more. Like if I go after future watches, I'm going after the parallel or the 99 or even a patch or something like that. Something that's not as common as just buying the common future watch. I mean, future watch is a commodity. It's traded
Mhm.
and it's everybody knows the price of a Bedard future watch. For example, but people
Yeah.
don't know the price of that out of 99 card.
Yep.
And in 5 years from now, somebody's going to look at that and say, that's a future watch out of 99. So yeah, it's a retro.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like, no, it's yeah, a 99, not the 999.
Yeah, and I started with that with like Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes. I picked up their retros, which were the I don't know, if it was 09 or something like that, because that was 2019. Yeah, I think it was the '09 version. And I got both of those, and I love those cars. I wouldn't
Yeah.
trade that for a regular future watch, and I know the
Not
other one's 4 times the price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So when you look at your collection and how you've evolved, do you feel like you're building something specific, or is it essentially just buying things along the way to commemorate the hobby and the sport that you love?
Um, I don't think I'm building anything specific because my
Okay.
my collection has a wide variety of players.
Mhm.
Now if you look at the core of my collection, yeah, you're going to see a lot of Florida Panthers cards, and you're going to see them across the major brands of the Cup down to MVP. So you'll see a lot of Panthers cards, but on the other side of it, if you went through like the years of my collecting, you would see like a lot of jersey cards, then a lot of Future Watch autos, then a lot of cup cards, and then now going into a lot of those short printed cards,
Mhm.
and now I've been collecting dark matter and copperheads, so I got I got a bunch of those,
Yeah.
so I would say it's more. And when I start to build something, I really like to collect the set of that. If I'm going after the dark matter, I've been working with a couple guys on the EPAC group there, and we're always checking to see how many dark matters you got. Oh, I got this many. Oh, I need that one. So kind of challenging each other to get the whole set. And
Meet
you get,
traders.
did you get Celebrini yet? No, I didn't. Oh, that's going to cost us a fortune. And so now I buy like certain groups of cards. So now if you would look at my card collection, you would see, instead of just random patch autos or random Future Watch of rookies, you would see like more groups of cards, like a group of dark matters or a group of copperheads or a group of, even if I go back to those Panini cards, or the Playmakers Theater or whatever, you'll see a group. So I like to collect in kind of in groups, because I see something I like, and then invariably I want to go after every card in that group.
So
Good or bad.
a little bit of a collecting, a completist, not full set, but complete. But you're
Not
like
full set, but
you
I
want them
get there,
all.
and I get like
You want the
mini.
insert set.
Yeah, I get many inserts, and I want to show you one because I've been working on this. There's 34 of these. I'm going to show you the best one first. You'll like that guy. You know.
Yeah, I love that card.
Yeah.
That's
So
on my
this
hit
is
list.
the gold foil from
Yep.
SP Signature Legends, but it's the SP set. Okay.
Hmm.
So the SP set's like number 300 and up to like 334. So I've been working on
Yeah.
that. And I got a bunch of these. I got the Iserman.
Yeah.
I actually pulled the Solani.
Did you? Nice.
And I actually also pulled the Sakic,
Okay.
and
I
then
love it.
I got the also got the Roy. So this is one I'm just working on, and it's going to take a while. So I was talking to a couple of friends. They're like, well, "Why aren't you going after the old time Future Watch?" I'm like,
Mhm.
"One, I can't afford it. I got a couple of them, but I've been trading off some of those for some of these, and I'm much more happy because I like this card,
Mm.
and I like the way it looks. So I'm at about 20 out of 34, but I don't have Lemieux and I don't have Gretzky, so
Mhm.
those are going to cost. I'm going to need to get up to the expo or something to get those, because
Yeah.
every time they pop up, they're either ridiculously priced or
Mhm.
they're gone, like that. I kicked myself because there was a Gretzky for like 800 US on ComC, and I didn't buy it. Now next time I go to look for it, it's going to be probably 1200 or more.
Yeah, that
And
happens. Yeah.
I'm like, I should have done that. But so I get in these little groups of collecting, and I say I'm not going to collect the whole set of SP Signature Legends, but I like that little the gold the gold SP set, and then I
Yeah.
collect that. So, and it's
Find
35 cards.
something.
It's doable.
Find something mildly off the beaten path that still is appealing to your eye and
Yeah.
serves the purpose. Hey, I love it. I like
And,
hearing about those almost more than I hear about somebody saying, "I'm collecting this set," and which we all know because it's so easily popular. So I kind
yeah.
of like hearing this version a little bit
And,
more.
and I
Not to
always
knock
had
the other way, but
and I always had a little bit of that in me, because when I
Mhm.
would go back and collect, like for example, if I would go back and collect the Fleer Ultra um, Ovechkin rookie, okay,
Okay.
the Fleer Ultra, then I would always have to go in and buy the Crosby equivalent. Okay, if I had the Ovechkin and I didn't have the Crosby, I wasn't happy. So
Yeah.
then the one day I went and got one of these SPX excitements, but this is the gold out of
Oh
99
yeah.
out of Ovechkin. And I probably paid like between 100 and 120 bucks for that. And I think on the Crosby, I paid probably like 70 bucks. They just sold one of these on Slap Sharks last week for like 600 bucks.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
card that you don't see very often. So people
Mhm.
always ask me, "Hey, show me one of your favorite cards." And I'll pull one of these two out, and they're like, "What is that?" You
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, "Well, that's the SPX rookie excitement from, SPX from, you know, Crosby and Ovechkin's rookie year.
Rookie
But
year, yeah.
always, if I bought one, I had to buy the other. So I
Right.
always had that kind of thought in my head that I need to finish this. Not a whole set, but if I got one, I got to get the other. Or if I got a big rookie of this, I got to get a big rookie of that.
Is there so I see a lot of them loose, a lot of them one touches. That's that gotta get this, gotta get that type of mentality seems to have a little bit of like top loader binder gang with like displays
It does, but I'm a card in a
mentality.
box guy.
But you're a card in a box guy?
I'm a card in a
Yeah.
box guy. And last night I was digging these out of boxes to bring them in.
Yeah.
I have one binder. I bought that big 9 by
Yeah. They're big.
and they're huge. And I did it for Future Watch. So I started with the earliest Future Watch. I started putting them in. I'm about half done with it. And it's been sitting there for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. I can't do it.
So
but I know which box every one of these
stuff is one touches if they're super valuable, top loaders, I guess, if they're less. And, yeah.
Yeah. So I do that, and I organize usually in the boxes by, if it's not by set by year, it'll be by by brand or something. But I knew exactly where that card was, and then I have a couple of the big. I don't know, what do they call those, safe-like type boxes that they lock, and they got a handle and you can carry them to shows and stuff.
Oh, like the Zions.
Yeah, but it's not a Zion; it's a bigger one.
Okay.
They do guns in them, people.
Yeah.
I got a couple big ones of those full of stuff too. Those. Yeah, exactly. Those.
Apache.
Apache. I got a couple of Apaches. Yeah, I have that exact one in black, and then I have the long one.
Okay. What the hell's the name? But yeah, it's Apache case, right?
Yeah, it's Apache. Yeah. And those, I consider those a box. So we're still cards in a box, guys.
Still cards,
still a box, and there's still cards inside it. So
exactly.
I can't do the binder thing, man. And if I grade a card or if I pull out a card to look at it and I shove something else in there, then I got to rearrange the whole thing. And man, I'd rather just look at it, pull it out of the box and look at it.
Yeah, I get you. Well, that's the catch. Some people don't. They aren't actively interacting and experiencing their cards enough when you put them in boxes. But if you do stay active and interact with your cards enough, then you don't need the binder. So
no, you know exactly where it is, and I know which card. I have half my collection here in my office probably, and half of it at home, because my wife would kill me if I brought it all home, and so I know what card is in my office or which card is in my closet, or which box it's in. And today I wanted to find that excitement card, that SPX, and I said, oh geez, that's in the console underneath the TV in the drawer, and like the box that says SPX, and I'm like, it was right there, and like, and then I want to pull something else out, and I said, oh, that's in the Apache. I know where that's at.
I just love how I think it's funny. Like it's not that I care one way or the other. I really don't. But I just I'm like, if there was ever going to be a Discord civil war,
we're drawing lines.
It's going to be the cards in the box guys versus the top loader binder gang. And that's
well, they started it by calling themselves a gang. That's what it was. You call yourself a gang, there's going to be a war.
So get back to it. So talking about those gold autos with you talk about Gretzky, it made me think about one of the questions I ask a lot of people. Is there a grail that you've been chasing for a long time necessarily? Doesn't have to be, just a card that's been elusive. It doesn't have to be a grail, but obviously we all have those cards which you really want it. It's always there. Is there one that's really been meaningful for you?
That Gretzky's been one of them that I've been chasing for about a year and a half. The other one is I'd really like to get that I don't have is a McDavid Future Watch, but that's really kind of pricey at this point. Maybe one day I'll get one, maybe I'll consolidate some more stuff through Slab Sharks or something like that, and save up to get one. But I would like to have one. So one of those two. And the Gretzky's, I've been, we'll show one later, but I mean, I've been starting to buy some more Gretzky rookies because I just finally realized that he's not going anywhere.
Gretzky rookies.
Well, just Gretzky in general, and autos and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, And Gretzky signed a lot of cards in his lifetime. I
God,
mean,
he's still
but
signing.
yeah, but there is still a huge market for that,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
it's hard to. I look at Slab Sharks every week. That's probably my first search is Gretzky, and
Yeah.
then you
You're
check
looking at
out
minimum
You check.
500, 5 bills just to start as far
Yeah,
as what you're looking at, and then kinda go up from there.
yeah. I mean, the first one I got, Gretzky auto was one of those UD buyback things where they took a base card, and I think I got him in the Kings. I love the card, and I'll never get rid of it. But it was an entry level at
Okay.
like $300, and then
That one.
I got the other one with the action one, but I have that.
Okay.
I've seen that one quite a bit too.
Yep.
Yeah, but I got those, and then I've since picked up a couple more Gretzky autos, and I said, I'm really I'm not a Gretzky collector, but he's so iconic in the hobby. I even traded some big cards I had for a signed Kings jersey from Gretzky.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get it framed and put it up and stuff. So I said, in 20 years, he's still going to be Wayne Gretzky. He's still going to be iconic in this
He's
hobby.
still yeah, he's still gonna be there. It's one of
Yeah.
the things where it's funny, I think that you don't necessarily have to quantify yourself as a Gretzky collector. I mean, some people do. I say that I'm a Gretzky collector because he's one of the very few players that I collect. But I think it's almost an unusual, unspoken that in some way, shape, or form, if you collect hockey cards, you almost are always also somehow acquiring Gretzky cards. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know,
Yeah.
foolish thinking, but I
No, it
think
is. It
somebody's
is
got it.
because when I started and I didn't have that Gretzky rookie, I started looking around for one, and everybody said, "Oh, you got to buy O-Pee-Chee." I'm like, "I live in the U.S., man. Tops is fine."
Okay.
So I saw the tops. It was a good price. I talked to the guy. I actually called him. He was selling it on eBay, and he's like, "No, listen, I've had this card for such and such a time. If you grade it, call me back, let me know what it graded at." And I did, and
Mhm.
because he's like, I want to know. And I was comfortable to make that purchase. I got lucky. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. I said, I have to have a Gretzky rookie in my collection. And then for the longest time, I had autos of everybody, McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin, but I didn't have Gretzky.
A Wayner,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I said, I need to have a couple Gretzky. So I started with one like that buyback, and then
Mhm.
then I like the clear cut ones, and I like some other ones, and then I've gotten picked up a couple more here and there, and
Mhm.
been real happy with them. And they're ones that just won't ever leave my collection.
Yeah, whether you get those, you hang on to them until the bitter end. So, I
Yeah,
noticed you talked about sending some off for grading. You sent that one off for grading. You get other cards for grading. With your collection, how important is grading to you, or
it's
does it
not.
fluctuate?
Okay, I fluctuate, but as I show up cards here, you'll see some that
Mhm,
are grading, some that are not.
mhm,
But when I get a big card, or like a lot of times a pack pull card, I like to get them graded because I know I'm not getting rid of them. Um, there's another card that I have, and you asked me about like my my one love card. I told you, the George Brett.
yeah.
There's another one that I have, that I'm going to send off for grading, but I haven't done yet because I'll tell you why. Because my daughter has it. She took it. It was her first auto that she pulled out of a pack, and it
Okay,
happened to be the 0304 LeBron design Jeremy Swayman rookie patch auto
okay.
out of 25. So it was a good card, but she took it, and it's in her room. I can't get it back. I bought the box, but I didn't get the card. So it's in her room on a stand. And I said, "You don't even like Jeremy Swayman." She's like, "I pulled that card." So I wanted to
Yeah,
get that graded because that's something iconic between the two of us. You know, and I know it's never going to leave us.
yeah.
Either if something happens to me, she'll keep that card. Remember, and I ripped that with my dad. You know,
Mhm, mhm.
and that's something. So a lot of the cards that I grade are things. I mean, I grade some of the occasional young guns and stuff like that, like everybody does. But when I grade like iconic cards or good cards, or I buy one like that, I'll look for a graded because I know I'm going to keep it. And I know it's going to be something that it's going to remain in that condition. I'm not going to have a oh shucks moment and drop it or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And even some of the ones now, like I get some of the rookies for the Panthers, and they're coming, slabbed
They're
now.
already slabbed,
Right?
yeah.
So I don't particularly care for the slab that much, but this is another young kid that my daughter loves. So
Mhm.
Mackie Samuskevich. So the grading, I do send stuff for grading. I send stuff from EPAC to grading.
Okay.
It's become a little more challenging lately because there's been some cards missing and some other stories, but I've been pretty good with that stuff. Do they all get tens? No,
Sure.
and they shouldn't. If you
Mhm.
send off 30 or if you send off 100 young guns, and the 10 population is 30%, well then only 30 should come back as a 10. It's just math.
Mhm.
And people were saying, well, I got an 8, well,
Yeah.
I got a 9, and they switched my card. No, man, you just not one of the 30% that got a 10.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like five
It's the
Bedards.
numbers are there.
Yeah, I sent like 5 Bedards through from EPAC, and it was like 8, 8, 9, 9. Finally, the last one, I got a 10 and I'm done. I
Good.
wanted a 10 of Bedard, because I've
Yep.
been really kind of chasing him a little bit more than Celebrini. Um, I don't know one's going to be better than the other. Maybe they'll both be fantastic. Maybe they'll be Crosby and Ovechkin. I don't know.
Right.
But I really we were waiting for Bedard, and my daughter loved him, and now of course she loves Celebrini too. But I mean,
Mhm.
it's Celebrini just got so crazy so quickly. It's like I sent a couple Celebrini.
Unattainable.
Yeah.
Unattainable. We all had our one
I got a
year. We had
9
our
back
one
on
year
one of my
opportunity.
Celebrinis, and I said, "That's good enough.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
gonna keep playing that game because it's a $300-400 game at this point,
Yeah.
and you're not increasing your profit by $300 or $400. Like I said, I'm not gonna sell it, but
Yeah.
somebody is someday, and
Yeah.
I guarantee those cards aren't gonna be in your family for 250 years. It's not
For
gonna
a
happen.
long time.
They're gonna move to somebody else eventually. So, but on some of those, I just tap out and grab a 9, and I'll be okay with it because the card looks awesome, anyways.
Yeah. Now, do you have a preferred grading company, or is it basically
I
just
mean,
based off of who you like?
I started doing a lot of stuff through CGC,
Okay.
but I mean, I switched everything over to PSA, but now I'm not doing anything. I got 2 cards at grading, and I just checked from ComC today. I checked, and one of them's due back in August, and the other one's due back in November. And yeah, and those were due back months ago, and they've just
Yeah.
extended. So
Yeah,
I
they
think
pushed
one
it
of
out
them's a
farther.
Bedard O-Pee-Chee Rainbow Auto, and the
Mm,
other one's is a Celebrini. I said I already sent one more before, so I'm just going to leave it there. I already got the
yeah.
nine back, so I'm okay with it. But you
Yeah.
know,
Do
I,
you sorry, go ahead,
no.
sorry.
So I mean, I
Okay.
can grade or I can keep them raw. And in this hobby of hockey, I think it's more acceptable. If
Yeah.
you were doing football or basketball,
Basketball.
you have to grade it, because
Yeah.
somebody's not going to buy it a lot of chances, or they're going to really, if
10 or
you're,
bust in those
yeah,
sports.
yeah, it is.
I agree. It's the same way here in hockey. I think everybody wants the 10, but yeah, you can live quite affordably, and 9 is still considered mint.
Yeah.
You can slip under the radar with a lot of 9s. I think it's funny and hysterical when there are raw cards that are selling more than 9s and
Yeah. For
more
the
than
hope of
8s and
getting it.
9s, and I'm like, that
It's,
doesn't compute for me.
I mean, and I mean, I've seen people do it. I love the fact that they buy an 8, they crack it, they sell it, and they
Mhm.
get more than they would have for the 8 if
Yep.
they would have resold it.
100%.
You
Yep,
know?
100%.
So what logic is that? It's ridiculous. But
Yeah,
the guy that buy it, I guarantee he's thinking, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna submit it, and I'm gonna get a 10.
yeah.
You know?
It's exactly, and then it comes back and oh, damn it.
Come back an 8 and say, well, it was an 8 to begin with.
I'm gonna crack it, I'm gonna sell it, and the
Same
cycle
thing.
continues
Yeah, the
somewhere
cycle
else.
continues. So yeah, a lot of those
Yeah.
pop reports are probably pretty
They are,
skewed at
yeah,
this
they're
point because
inaccurate, trust me,
yeah,
at
because there's
best,
so many cracked
especially with good
cards.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you collect anything else? Us collectors of sports cards are an addictive
Hmm.
nature personalities. Anything else that you collect?
I got a couple jerseys. I collect Panthers T-shirts. I'll tell you that. I
Ah,
mean,
okay.
ever since the Stanley Cup, I can't stop buying Panthers t-shirts. I mean, I
Yeah.
have an addictive personality in
Personality. Yeah.
collecting. I when the World Cup, which just started today, comes along, I love collecting the Panini stickers,
Mhm.
and my daughter collects the Tops hockey NHL stickers. So we do that
Mhm.
as a family, though.
Mhm.
More that's more a family thing. We buy them, we all open them together, we put them in the book, and
Okay.
my wife does that. So for me by myself, now it's just pretty much
Nothing else. I just wasn't sure. Yeah, like you said,
yeah.
collect addictive personality. Of comics, vinyl, records, whatever.
Couple jerseys here and there,
Okay.
but nothing major.
All right.
Nothing like the cards. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite piece of memorabilia or jersey that's your favorite jersey that's not a
That
card?
that Gretzky 99
Okay.
Kings jersey that's signed.
It's
And I
kind of
can't wait.
badass. Is it black or is it
It's
white?
black. It's
Oh,
black.
oh, that's a badass jersey.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. I can't wait to
Yeah,
get it framed. And it's an
nice.
awesome jersey. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
I just can't figure out how to frame it because a part of me wants to see the Kings on the front, and part of me wants to see the Gretzky on the back. I'm like, I'm
you
not gonna put
can't
it up
just
and have a walk around in my house over Wayne Gretzky.
just
Once
put it.
again, we'll get divorced for that. I
Yeah, right.
mean, it's like so I got to figure out a way to do it right. And I might put it with
Yeah,
some cards or something like
the
that.
back, the back with the 99 is
Yeah,
iconic.
I
I'm not gonna
know, I
go with
know.
that.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
the back. The back's gonna win, but I mean, you can't tell
Mhm.
who it is from the front. So I mean,
Yeah.
unless you get a shoulder patch or something.
So how about with again, you're kind of you're in the Florida triangle of the hobby with not having a lot of stuff around you, and you go on other forums and social media platforms to try to
Yeah.
be in touch with collectors. You talked about EPAC, buying and selling online or trading online with people, and
Hmm.
is that probably the you ever do like in-person trades, or is it mostly just through
Never.
communities online?
No.
Okay.
Never. I never do in-person trades, but I've done trades before,
Sure, sure.
trading with guys that I know just through the forums and stuff.
Yeah.
And hey, I got this card. Hey, what do you want? I got these for traders. And I mean, being in that triangle that they call it of Florida, it's nice because I can get some really good value for like Barkov cards or Verhage or Reinhardt or Bob
Mhm.
or any of those guys or Kachuk even, you know. Um, Barkov, if you played for Toronto or Edmonton, his cards would be astronomical. You
Mhm.
know, he's that good of a player, and I can get him for a fraction of that.
Yeah,
So
I
I
agree.
do like to trade for those type of cards, especially when you're trading with a guy from Canada. You don't
Mhm.
want a Barkov card. There's no you guys from Finland, and he plays in Florida. What do I want that card for? There's no
Yeah.
connection for them. So I can usually pick those up at a good price. And I just picked up a microfibers gold on EPAC. Um, I valued it about 40, $50. It's out of 10. And probably I valued it higher than it's actually worth if you were to
Mhm.
sell it outright. But the guy wanted like a bunch of commons that I had, not commons, they're inserts, but there wasn't an insert there worth more than $1. So he threw me a list of like 100 inserts, and I said, "Well, I'm going to pick like 40." He's like, "That's cool," because he just didn't have any connection to that card because
Mhm.
it was Sam Reinhart played
Yeah.
for the Panthers.
You
You
can
know,
move it cheap,
yeah,
and get them cheap. That's what I love about them. So
yeah. So yeah,
cool.
Philly. I mean, you got some of that going in Philly too. You got some good players that are. I mean, I don't know how much Martone's going to be, but some of the other ones that are there, and I used to love Connect Me. I still do, kind of. I mean, over here in the office, I got a Flyer sweatshirt. I'm not, keep that on the down low.
It's-
I do have one, and I used to love them. I was rooting for them to make it in the playoffs back in what was it, when they were good, like 17, 18 or something like that,
that
or
bubble
18.
year, I was so pissed off
Yeah,
with that bubble
yeah.
year. We were the number one seed,
Oh
round
yeah.
robin, number one seed, first round, lose to the Islanders.
And I
Damn it.
love and I love Giroux grilled cheese, because
Mhm.
he came down to the Panthers. We loved him down here,
He
and
was ahead of the curve, man. He
yeah,
identified that Florida was about to be a monster, and he was ahead of the curve
yeah, he's a
and
smart
did the
guy.
1 year because that's what he said. He wanted to go to Florida.
Yeah,
That's literally where
and
he
he missed
kind
it
of
by a year, but
it was a
hey, that
year. It was a
happens.
year,
I know,
you know?
but I love those guys. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
closet
yeah.
closet Philly fan too, closet Ducks fan. So,
There you
oh,
go.
that's another one. I'm a closet Ducks fan. So you like this guy? I mean, I got a bunch of Zegras. I don't know how you feel about
Oh,
Zegras.
Zegras. Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
At
that's
first you
Zegras.
held that up, I thought it was, Quitter
No,
Gauthier.
that's Zegras. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that
I
to you.
love, Trevor, like, it's funny
My
thing.
my daughter absolutely loves Trevor Zegras, of
Yeah.
course, so I started collecting a bunch of his stuff,
Mhm.
and now I have an extensive Trevor Zegras collection for what reason I don't know, but you know, overpaid for his rookie cards and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. But that one was out of ice or something, and he
He's a
pulled it.
TikTok fanboy.
He is. So that's why all
But
the little
I
girls
love
and
him
little
now.
boys
It's
love
funny.
him.
I was one of his biggest critics. I was
Yeah,
gonna say critiques because I recognize that. I was like, the guy's cashing in, but his popularity is from like 3 TikTok reels. I'm like, look, what? Other
yeah,
than that, he stinks.
yeah,
Then, then he's like, I'm like, but I did identify that he had talent and he needed to, he was getting kind of a bad situation there. And then I was like, you know what? And the Flyers get him. I'm like, all right, well, I already know. I'm like, I know this. I know the basement. I know the floor. So how
yeah.
high can he go? Like he can only go
He had
up
a
from here.
phenomenal rookie year,
He's doing
so
great. He's
yeah,
doing
he is
great.
doing good, and he's
So
learning. He's
learn how
these
to be a
people,
pro.
these guys either figure it out or they don't, and
Hmm.
they wash out. But he's figuring out, like you said, how to be a pro and how to round out his game to everything.
Yeah.
You can't just do Michigans every weekend.
Nope.
You gotta work hard. I mean, that's why the Panthers were good. They got a bunch of guys who bought into, hey, we're going to work hard in the corners.
Yep.
Nobody wanted
Yep.
to play the Panthers in the playoffs because they
No, they're beating everybody up, man. I'll tell you
beat the
what.
hell out of you, and that's
Yep.
how they won 2 championships. I
Yep.
mean, it's and that comes down from your captain and your best players, and you got
Yeah.
Couturier there. I know you're a big Couturier collector, so. But
Just the
yeah,
fancy.
I'm like also a closet Flyers and Ducks fan too. So
There you go.
yeah.
It's that orange. You get the red and
It
the
is, it
yellow from
is.
the
I like the
Panthers.
patches, I like the bright patches, so
Yeah.
if I can't get a gold and blue,
Yeah.
Panthers patch, I'm gonna get an orange one, so,
There you go.
yeah.
How about like I ask everybody, like, do you do any or participate in any breaks or you just watch
Oh,
them?
yeah.
Are
I do a ton of breaks,
you do
yeah.
okay? Do a ton of breaks. There you
I'm
go.
probably the guy here that hasn't, that you've gotten the other answers. "Oh, no, I don't do any breaks." I do a ton of breaks. I live in Florida. You can't
Like,
go buy a hobby box. I mean, I love when you got guys from Canada. I love it. But they say, "Oh, I go down to my hobby shop, and what do I need a break for?" And they have a
so
break going
jealous.
on, and I can watch and I can trade, and I'm like, I can't do that, you know.
Yeah.
So, I got American breaker, I got a Canadian breaker. Now I'm doing Gong Show breaks for 3 weeks straight, So I do breaks, and that's why I have such an assortment of cards here,
Yeah.
because I can get different teams. I do pick your teams. I do randoms. I love breaks. There's a certain gambling aspect of it. I like to gamble, so it's fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun excitement to sit and watch. And like I said, if I was probably in your same scenario, I probably would. If I was your type of collector
Yeah.
and I didn't have stuff around me, I'd probably be collecting the exact same way you are, which is
And you're
breaks
and
and
you're collecting
packs.
only Philly, so in your side, you're only going to buy into a break probably for the Flyers, and you're not going to go into a random and say get the Islanders, and even if it's Schaefer, you'd be like, well, okay, I can get a
Oh, I've
Schaefer.
I've only done maybe less than half a dozen breaks in my life, and I won't do anything unless it's pick your team.
Okay,
Plain
yeah,
and simple.
yeah.
I just won't
So you
because
can get
I can't. My brain doesn't fire, doesn't trigger to that.
yeah.
Well, I don't like putting things a chance. I also am not a gambler. I can't stand. I don't go to casinos, or if our
Okay.
friends
Yeah.
go,
Well, we're a
I'll
little
go
different.
with them. I'll take $100. Once it's gone, I'm like, that was a waste.
Yeah.
I'm just like that. So yeah.
No, I'm going back to the ATM and saying I get another 100 so I can make some more
Like,
money.
oh, here, this at least this machine pays out. Let me just
Yeah, yeah.
I just guess
We're
the same 4 numbers every time, and it spits out money every time.
yeah,
I win.
yeah. No, we're a little different there, but no, I love
Yeah,
breaks. I
yeah,
mean, it started with a necessity, but
sure.
I really do like it, and I've
They
gotten
are
into
fun.
good. I gotten into good groups. I mean, listen, there's a lot of shitty breakers out there and
Mhm.
people on whatnot that I don't care to even join that platform because they're cheats, they're liars, they're everything. They get a good car, they steal it for themselves. Oh, I got lost in shipping or whatever. I've been in the same brake groups, the same two brake groups for probably 8, 9 years.
Hmm.
Okay. And the only third one I've done, I didn't even do Grant's brakes. I never done one of Grant's brakes, but because of the relationship I have with the Gong Show, I said, okay, I'll do those brakes,
Hmm.
and kind of add them and maybe subtract one of the other ones. So, because you have to have a budget in it too,
Sure.
but it really goes a long way to do it with somebody trusted. And the guy I do it in Canada is one of my best friends. I mean,
Mm.
we talk on the phone all the time. We chat every time, and he's a breaker and part owner in a hobby shop and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I mean, I trust him. I trust him with anything I got, and
That's
he
important.
wants me a bill and he says at the end of the week, you owe me this,
Yeah.
everybody else he's got to collect and do
Yep.
this and do that, but I've been doing that with him nonstop.
Yeah. It's
And now I'm
important.
doing some of that stuff with Gong Show. So it
Hmm.
does make a difference where you do it. And sometimes breaking gets a bad name, but it can also be a good thing.
Yeah. So you talked about the also briefly about the lack of shows and whatever, and you say I picked up. I think you mentioned earlier that you have not been to the expo yet. Correct?
No, I have not. I
No.
want to
Is
go.
that on your hit list of things that you'd
Yeah,
like
I
to do
want
in
to
your
go. I
hobby?
keep I keep saying when it's like 5 months out every time, I keep saying I'm going to go. And then when it gets closer, something comes up. But I
Yeah.
really want to try to go this fall.
Cool.
And worst case, maybe I'd make it in the spring. But I really do want to go because some of the cards, I'm just not going to see them. I'm not going to have the accessibility as when you go to an expo. And my friend from Canada, he always says, he's like, Jason, you're going to be like, your eyes are going to be like this when you walk into the expo.
Saucers. Your eyes are
He's
going
gonna
to be
be
like
like,
saucers.
he's
It's
like, you're going
crazy.
to be like, I never knew there was this many hockey cards, because you're always looking over the same picked over
Hmm.
stuff on eBay, waiting for something else to come up or e-packs or whatever. And it's everything there,
I'm telling you what, I can tell you right now. You walk in the main door, you make one right, go up the first aisle to the right. You walk down there, and there's not just cases, there's not just cards, it's cases that have lots of Gretzky's and lots of Lemieux and lots of Gordie Howes and lots of Patrick Waugh rookies. They have there's a dealer that has an entire 2 cases worth of Gretzky rookies, 2 cases worth of
Wow.
Lemieux rookies, a case of Waugh, a case of Terry Sawcher. It's just that whole row. I can smell the row sitting here because it just all the wax that's sitting behind them has that
Yeah.
aged smell.
Now,
But yeah,
if
you're
I
gonna
get to a
enjoy it.
show
You
in
got
the
to make it there.
South, I want to try. If I get to the South and I get to a show and they have one Gretzky rookie, it's
Yeah,
like, wow, you know.
yeah. Well, it's cool. I'm glad. Definitely keep the dream alive. Keep the hope alive.
Yeah, and
Uh,
plus I want to get to meet some of the guys in person too.
oh, dude,
It's like
it's so much fun.
you do everything, over social media and stuff these days,
Yeah.
and doing stuff like this, but and being a member in Discord and chatting with everybody, and it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, I really want to go and put myself out there. And like I said, many times I've done this kind of stuff in the past and just sat in the background, And this
Discord,
time
you
when
get
I got
people
into
to rent a
Discord,
house together. You
yeah,
know.
and this time when I got into Discord, I said, no, I'm gonna be out there more
Hmm.
because I want to expand the friendship group that I have within this hobby. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I
it's
got a lot
great.
of friends outside the hobby here, but
Hmm.
I'm not
Yeah, I
going
got
to
my
talk
two
about
separate
my
lives.
cards. They're going to be bored in like 5 minutes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like somebody I can talk to. I mean, we can talk for an hour, hour and a half, and it's like 5 minutes pass for me because we're talking about cards. We're talking about
Exactly.
stuff we have in common.
Yeah. It's
So
very simple. You already have that built-in camaraderie. So,
exactly. Yeah. So
um,
I want to do it for sure.
what do you do? Is it so you're just the type of person that has you maintain your knowledge and awareness of trends and whatnot based off of just content consumption,
Yeah.
breaks, all
Yeah, a
that.
lot
That's
of
just how
that
you.
is, yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, you see who's up, who's down,
Mhm.
how much Celebrini going for this week. And Also's really helped in that because, they do, that top five sales and all the other
Mhm.
stuff that they throw out there, which is really good because, it keeps you knowledgeable of, okay, if I'm going to put, I mean, I don't really comp stuff much anymore. I mean, I've been doing it for a while that I can get a very good idea of what
Mhm,
something should go for and know if I want it, I'm going to pay for it. I'm not
mhm,
going to pay three times the value, but all right, say a card's $150 or I feel it's $150. The other day I was looking at something and talking with somebody and I said, oh, that's $130 card. And it's oh no, it's more, and then it's sold on Slab Sharks for like 125. And they're like, oh man, you were right. And I'm like, yeah, it's just because I've been doing it for a while,
yeah,
And you
you pick up that
see,
feel,
yeah, you
that
see
vibe.
this. You know how much a new rookie Young Guns is going to be.
Mhm,
Demidov's going to be 150. You
mhm,
know, when he comes out, it's going to drop to 100, and then it'll
mhm,
drop, around 80, 70. Maybe it comes back up depending on his performance, and somebody bigger will come in at 2 to 250, like a Bedard will be 300.
mhm.
And you get the idea of what cards are going to go for based upon the history of what other cards went for.
One of those go, yeah.
So,
How
and then
about
you have the outlier. You have a
oh,
celebrity.
yeah. The outliers, the super low ones that everybody wants to lean on when
I
they're
mean,
trying to
I
buy.
could have. I can't predict. This is Leo Carlson, and this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the gold 12 out of no 4 out of 12.
Future flyer Leo Carlson.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's what I've
Now,
heard.
if this guy was Celebrini, this would be close to $100,000. But it's
Mhm,
Leo Carlson, so it's probably a $600-700 card.
yep,
You know, I can't predict that.
yep.
Nobody can predict that. So you prospect and you do things, and I mean, there's always that outlier,
Mhm.
always. You know,
Have you ever felt that the hobby has become, start to feel a little less fun or have a little more pressure or a little more, um, how do you fight that hobby negativity? Is it just kind of stay in your lane and keep your happiness?
try to.
Yeah.
When I see that negativity is sometimes through social media, and when you
Mm,
get into reels and stuff, it's not always necessarily hockey, but sometimes it is. And
sure.
sometimes it's other sports, just collecting in general, and you see like a really nasty element to it.
Mhm,
It's like, I mean, I see some of these high pressure sales they're doing on whatnot, and it's just so wrong what they're
mhm,
doing. And then people are calling them out. Oh, you're selling this for 5 times, 6 times comps, and it's like that just gives me a bad feeling.
sure.
And then I'll just jump back into what I'm collecting, or Discord or something,
Mhm,
or one of my friends that I have a good relationship with that I can say, hey, did you see what's going on here? What do you think of that? And then we'll kind of have the same view of that. And then that puts me back in a better state of mind because you,
yeah.
you kind of get disenchanted sometimes. You're like, God, it's all about the dollars.
Mhm,
And yeah, all my cards are here are worth stuff, but I'm not selling it,
yeah.
right now. So the stuff I'm selling goes to Slab Sharks. So I want to see my cards go up. I think Josh just touched on this on the last episode. You want to see your cards go up because it makes you feel more invested in the card. And, if you bought it at 100 and it's worth 20, you kind of feel down about that card.
Mm,
But at the same time, you don't want to pay 3 and 4 times comps on it, and that's what these guys on Whatnot and these other platforms are doing. And it feels so wrong to me. So,
yeah.
I'm glad there's not a huge hobby hockey migration to Whatnot, because I know there's some on there, and they're probably good dudes there too. But
Mhm.
I got into it once, and I went in there and I was just like, man, I just feel bad after going to the site. I would go
When
into
in
rooms that there was nobody
when
there.
in doubt, just come back to your security blanket with the Discord, right?
Yeah, I would go into a room and there would be nobody there, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, snap, this sucks." Or I'd go somewhere and you get a guy yelling, "Oh, $20, $20, $40, $70," and you could just see his face getting red, you
Yeah,
know? And I'm
yeah.
like, "That's not fun for me."
That ain't for me,
So,
that ain't for me.
that's the stuff that turns me off in the hobby more than,
Yeah,
other people complain about box prices and this and, "Hey, what do you pay for a loaf of bread? What do you pay for a gallon of gas?" It's
right,
3
right, right.
times, it's 4 times. Why
Mhm,
shouldn't cars be that way? Everything's getting more expensive. It just is,
mhm.
So
Any content or you talked about breakers or content or Facebook groups that you are trusted resources that you go to frequently
Yeah,
and
I use some of the Facebook groups, but I use like specific ones,
okay,
like the EPAC group. I
okay,
think they had on Ben Berry on one of the shows. He
yep,
runs one of the groups that I'm in. Well, he runs the main group for EPAC. So I like that group because they don't play around. Like if you're scamming or something, they just kick you out, no
yep,
questions asked.
peace
There's a
out.
couple, yeah, there's a couple other groups on there that, you get guys on there and they're scamming one week and you see them in another group next week and it's like, okay, I'm not going to be part of this group. So I'm pretty select in those, and that
Good.
I'll only go to those certain groups. Or like if my friend has a hobby shop and he's got his own group, I'll jump into his group or one of his hobby friends groups. So I'll do that. And, sometimes I ask in Discord, hey, where are you guys getting this? Or where there's other people buying and selling in different places now. And there's that collect platform and other
Yeah.
platforms now that people are selling on that I haven't even gotten into. And
It's too
there's
much. Everybody's got. I need more logins there
yeah,
than I do for work.
exactly. And if I could just have one login for everything, I would be on everything.
All right.
But if my phone can't save it, I'm in trouble. I
It's a
went to go
smartphone.
I went to go pull up my email on my computer here to get your link today, and
Mhm.
I said, I don't know my password for my email. It's in my phone, you know. So
You're right.
it's like you're in a bunch of groups, and then you're like, okay. When I
Yeah.
go to Discord, it's already in. I'm logged in. I don't have to do anything. I'm old and I'm yelling at the clouds. And,
Old man yelling in front. Yeah, yeah. Run it.
yeah, I don't
Get off
want
my
to do
lawn.
anything. So, I mean, I want to see, like, sometimes guys in Discord will post this from collecting. I'm like, I can't even see it.
Yeah.
And it says you must log in to see this content. And I'm like,
You're
oh,
like, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
I'll go to the next one. Somebody will post
How,
it.
how
And then
about
there's
let's
a
talk.
hero that posts the actual link below, and then I can
Right.
read it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like those guys. So,
Yeah. I just like if just give me a screenshot of the headline and that'll be enough
exactly.
for me at
Yeah,
times if you
yeah.
can't
I
read
don't
the
need to
article.
read it anyways. I just need to
Yeah.
just check out what it's about or how
I
much
think
the
you
card's
mentioned
selling for.
I think you mentioned earlier a card that you have a mild regret on. But let me ask: is there a card that you passed on that still haunts you today? Was it the Gretzky, or is there something
Yeah,
bigger
that
than that
Gretzky
one?
Gold SP haunts me a little
Okay.
bit, and I did have a chance at a Mario Lemieux rookie, and I didn't buy it.
Mm,
And I'd like to get one, but
okay.
they're condition sensitive, and so I'd probably buy one graded.
Okay.
Especially in this landscape we're in right now, with cards going up in price, I
Mm,
would definitely buy one graded. So, I, I mean, I passed on a few that I should have bought because the prices are much higher now. That
mm.
Gretzky being one, and the Lemieux rookie probably being another one.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Is what I guess it helps make it for you. What has the hobby community meant to you beyond just the cards themselves and the education part of it?
You know, it gives me a release outside of everything else that goes on in your life.
Mm,
Okay, your family, your work. Some days I just want to sit and scroll Discord when I'm at work, and not deal with the crap that comes along at work, and I mean, I love my family, but sometimes you need a break from them too, and sometimes they want a hobby right along with you, so that's great too.
mhm,
So it works both ways, but it gives you a release and something that you can say, hey, this is mine. This is nobody else's. It's not my brother. It's not my wife. It's not my kids. This is mine. They can share it with me if
mm.
they choose you know, but this is something that's me.
Has it changed how you see the hobby or in general, like the fact that the larger community?
Um, I really think hockey's still a smaller community. I
Yeah.
mean, because I think you still run into the same people over
Mhm,
and over in the hobby. Now, if you're talking the collecting as a whole, yeah, it's
mhm,
changed quite a bit because there's a lot of people involved that are just looking to make some money.
mhm.
There's some
Sure.
content creators that I don't know if they care if they sell a card because they're selling content. That's
Yep.
what they're selling. They're not selling cards. They're just happen
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be in that space, you know?
Mhm,
So, the hobby as a whole, yes, collecting, it's kind of intimidating when you look at the whole thing. But I think
Mhm.
hockey's still a small enough niche where I still kind of like it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what's kept. I love the fact that we have our tight knit group and community,
Yeah.
and it's cliche, and I'm sure it's gonna somebody would say you're just patting yourself on the back, but I feel that us hockey collectors are probably the most pure in
You
across the
could
whole hobbies.
you could, Neil, but look at it this way. You're posting a pod for just the Discord members.
Mhm.
You're not advertising this pod. You're not
Mhm.
getting income from this pod,
No,
and could we be talking about any other sport where an ad doesn't pop up 3 times because somebody's making money? Could we be talking about basketball cards?
yeah, right.
Football cards? No. Tom Brady rookies? No. You
Yeah,
know, we can't be talking about that because in this hobby, there's still a need for content for people that want just the hobby. They don't care about, I have to make a living and extra income on top of that.
yeah. I don't need sirens here, and I don't need to take my shirt off and spinning it and going,
Exactly.
let's
And
go.
I was thinking about it and I said, I should ask Neil if he's going to go mainstream and publish for outside of Discord, and I'm like, no, he doesn't need to do that. But he has his
Not
lane.
these. I got the other ones, but not these because
Yeah.
I want it to be special. Like there has
Yeah.
to be something exclusive to
Yeah.
Discord, and that's how these started. And yeah, I appreciate the concept. Like I've struggled with it multiple times where um, I'm like, oh, I'm getting self-conscious of, oh my gosh, I've only got 38 views. But hey, you know what? If 38 people enjoyed whatever video, whether it was an interview, whether it was a solo episode,
Yeah.
I put time and effort, but it's the love of the passion and the hobby, and that's what the enjoyment out of it. It's that release of, hey, I got some free time. My wife likes to read. I don't read. I do this,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know. So let me ask this, and it might have been asked and already answered. So if it's the same as a previous answer, but it's one of my favorite questions.
Okay.
What's a card in your collection that nobody else would understand, but it means everything to you?
Well, that Jeremy Swayman I told you about, that's
Okay.
one. The
Mm,
other one is a probably a Carter Verhage acetate young gun.
okay.
I mean, is it first of all, you wouldn't understand it because he's in a Tampa uniform. Okay. He played for Tampa his rookie
Yep.
year outside, and you're like, why does this guy get Tampa cards? He's a Panthers fan. So nobody would understand that. And for me to get that card, they're hard to get, first of all, and you don't see a lot come up on eBay and stuff. And
No.
I happened to be in a group, I don't know what forum it was on, maybe Facebook, maybe. And the guy was a Tampa fan. And he's like, I said, oh, you got any Verhage? And I was collecting Verhage kind of heavy at that time. He's like, I got a card for you. And he shot me a picture of it. I'm like, all right, you want to send it down here? Let's work out a price. He's like, okay, it'll take the same route that Carter did, right down to South Florida. So, people wouldn't understand why I had that card if you just looked at my whole collection, but I love that card,
Yeah.
and it's, one of however many, 25,
20%. 20.
and it's the
Yeah.
only acetate young gun I own,
Okay.
so it's not like I got a bunch of acetates and you got to have one more. No, it's
Sure.
just that guy. So,
I gotcha.
and that and the Swayman that my daughter pulled.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
What is there a specific card in your collection that you feel may have completely changed the direction of what you were collecting, or you like that you kind of recognize a specific moment where you're like, I'm pivoting here, and this was kind of like the first card that did it?
You know what? I wouldn't say it's a specific card, but like when I
Okay.
started collecting like red PMGs,
Okay.
okay, and I have a lot of red PMGs. Okay, I got a couple green, not too many, and I was collecting good players, big players. Cale McCarrs, McDavid's, Crosby's,
Mhm.
those kind of things, and that turned me on to the numbered parallel. The numbered parallel out of 100.
Mhm.
And that moved me more away from maybe the patch auto or the Future Watch 999 than over to an O-Pee-Chee Platinum or a Metal Universe or something like that, where there's SPs that aren't even numbered. But I still, every time I get I opened a box of metal from this last year, and I got a Matthews, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's Matthews,
Yeah.
and I mean, I could trade it for something, but I don't really collect Matthews. But anyways, it still was a good feeling for me because I got a red PMG, cool. When I opened it, and I saw the red in there, so that led me to collecting more like short print stuff that's a little bit more off the norm, and that happened probably around 2021. I have a bunch of that 2021 metal that I have a bunch of PMGs from that.
Cool. That's awesome. I love hearing that. That's a good
that
answer.
led me into collecting more short print stuff.
Inserts, short prints. Yeah, that's cool.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Like that was a great. That was funny. You're like, oh, haven't mentioned PMG the entire time yet.
I didn't even
You throw that in there, which
yeah,
a fantastic answer. You're like, that's a good pivot on that one.
Yeah, like I said, when it's cards, it's easy to talk about.
Yeah, right.
We could do this 4 hours probably, but I'm not.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have a favorite, like a favorite card design from a certain year, or a favorite insert, or a specific set design from a particular year where you're like, oh, that really I enjoy those?
I like coming out of the cup. I like Splendor.
Okay.
I really do, and I know it's standalone for like a year or two, but I like the Splendor design. And I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody else, but I bought a Nikita Kucherov Splendor. I don't know why. I just saw it. It was a really good price, and it was a cool card. Not an auto one, just the one with a nice patch from Tampa. And I bought it, and I still have it. And but I like the Splendor look, and then the PMGs that we just talked about, and then some of these new inserts coming out of metal are phenomenal. So I love those, the Dark Matters, the Copperheads,
yeah.
And even some of the Fleer Ultra stuff. Some of the new Fleer Ultra, you really got to see them in hand, and they change how you feel about the cards. But
yeah, especially because a lot of them are advertised. Their photos are on ComC.
Yeah, and they're not good.
The photos are not very flattering on there. You do have to get them. Like I got a bunch on there for just because of the Fleer Ultra. I love the Fleer Ultra brand. It reminds me of the 90s. And when you get them, I was more anxious to get some of those than anything, just to see them in hand. I was like, oh, they look great.
Yeah, look, those Ultra Powers are awesome.
The Ultra Powers are great in hand with the burst on the background, and you can feel the grit. There's
some of the Lucky 13s are pretty cool too.
Yeah, I have one coming. It's scheduled to be here late July.
There you got the quick ship. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. How about, do you have any favorite sets or inserts that are coming out that you're looking forward to getting? Like,
I want to see what this tableau is all about.
Yeah, I keep hearing about that.
Just out of curiosity, I want to see what it is. They keep saying at Upper Deck that it's an experience. So, which leads me to believe it's going to be like the briefcase style opening or something like that, baseball. And
it's like opening up a box of Monumental at the expo. It's like those big
or like
boxes, like
Immaculate or something like that. So I'm curious what the cards are actually going to look like. Are they going to be? Are they going to be patches? Are they going to be autos? Are they going to be something new?
I don't even know if they're regular size cards, like, or is it going to be like these eminent
ones? How they have that new stuff from Fanatics? Yeah, Eminent.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool stuff. I mean, it's cutting art pictures and state of the art pictures and stuff.
Yeah, they're great graphics, but they're not cards. Like us.
No, they're big.
Us hockey card collectors are finicky. Where am I going to put this big tableau?
Yeah. Doesn't fit in my box.
It's not going to fit my Apache.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what that's going to be, so I'm kind of curious about
we'll see. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I saw the what was it? The advertisement for the new SPA.
Yep.
Yeah, coming out. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
They got a couple cards in there I'm not really sure I understand. I mean, they had a McDavid Future Watch non-auto. What's that all about? I don't understand that card. So I don't understand what the point there is. But I also I was checking out, Josh posted the checklist, and I saw that on the Future Watch they're only doing the horizontal and vertical. I don't think they're doing a retro.
Okay.
So for a guy that buys a lot of retros, I was like, well, maybe I'll be into
Yeah, I would probably if it were me, I'd probably keep the horizontal, keep the vertical, ditch the horizontal, and
and do
keep
one
the
retro.
retro. Something
Yeah,
different, but I
just do
never.
one retro. I like the idea when they do 10 years behind. That's
Hmm.
perfect. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't
How
know.
about
Not close, I guess.
if you could design a hockey card, if you were given like the keys to the upper deck to their design department, and you got to stand up and say, "This is what I want you guys to kind of create for me." Do you have any ideas about what you might do, or is it hard to put in the
Uh,
words?
it would have to be a very colorful patch, first of
Okay.
all. I'm big into I've showed you a bunch of patches today.
Yep.
They're probably outside of the Leo Carlson, all of them are three color or more, and I
Okay.
like a very colorful patch. Um, on card auto
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily, I mean, for me, I collect sticker autos too. Doesn't matter, but
Hmm.
on cards more sought after.
Hmm.
Um, and then a good background design similar to a Splendor.
Okay.
Maybe I'm discussing a Splendor card, but I mean
Yeah. Right.
something like that it doesn't take up a lot of the whole idea of the card, but the background design has to be good.
Okay. Cool.
So
Cool.
something,
Cool.
yeah.
How about any favorite hockey movies? Do you watch movies at all? Do you have
Hockey movies. My favorite hockey movies. I mean, I guess a lot of people would probably say Slapshot, but I guess my favorite hockey movie would be one would be Youngblood, and then two would probably be Miracle.
okay? Very
Yeah,
good.
I'm sure you've
That's
probably gotten. I haven't listened to all the episodes, but I'm sure you've probably gotten a lot of those.
No, that's good.
But
That's yeah, I get a lot of
yeah,
Mighty Ducks. I get a lot of,
yeah.
because we
Oh,
have a
Mighty Ducks.
limited
Think
we
about
have a
that.
limited core, but
Yeah.
it's nice to not hear Slapshot every single time over
I
and
mean,
over
I
again.
like Slapshot, but it's like
It's
sometimes I don't get it.
yeah,
It's like that's '70s humor. I mean,
that's
it's
my
like
that's my hobby hot take.
yeah,
Slapshot, I was like,
yeah,
I didn't,
yeah. I mean, some of it's like
yeah,
okay, I
yeah,
like Youngblood because I grew up kind of in the '80s, and that
yeah,
Swayze and Rob Lowe and that kind of thing.
mhm,
Brat Pack and Young
yeah, I
Actors
agree.
kind of thing. So I like
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
So how about we'll talk about a favorite one of the segments from Gong Show was they when they were doing the hobby Mount Rushmore for every team. Who's your Mount Rushmore for your Panthers?
Panthers, Bure,
Mm-hmm.
Pavel
Yeah.
Bure. I still rock his jersey to the games. Barkov has got to be there. That's when it gets a little bit more challenging. I
Yeah.
mean, some people would say Yager, but he was. I mean, he was. I would associate Yager more with another team. So would Bure, but Bure is also associated a lot with Florida. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
would
to
agree.
keep Bure
I'd
there.
say
I'm
that.
going to go Barkov. I'm going to go coming up. I'm going to go Kachuk because
Okay.
he's there for another 7 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to pick a fourth. I guess I should go goalie and just go Bob. Yeah.
All right. There you
Two
go.
Stanley Cups, two Vezinas. I mean, you
I
can't,
like it. I
I
like it.
mean, Vasilevsky may be better, but Bob's got the hardware to put up
Hmm.
against any of them.
Now,
So
do you have a hobby for you? Like, what's your favorite hobby or hockey in general? Mount Rushmore, like, or is it just Panthers?
what do you mean, like teams?
Like hobby, like if you said my Mount Rushmore for hockey is Gretzky,
Oh,
wow, you know,
Lemieux,
yeah,
love Mario.
cool.
Gretzky.
Hmm.
I'm not big in blasphemy. I know I'm not big on Gordie Howe.
Okay, yeah,
You
it's
know,
hard to appreciate, right?
I got the Gordie Howe 101 they pulled.
Yeah, yeah.
I have one of the out of 25s. It's on my e-pack. It's
Mhm.
hidden. I never told anybody I pulled it, but it's just sitting in my account. And I thought that was a great card until I saw the 101. So I'm not big on that. I would say Ovechkin.
Okay, I
I
think that's your
really
four.
like Ovi.
Yeah.
He just doesn't give two F's. I
Nope.
mean, like,
Nope, he's gonna eat his whatever, drink his Coke,
you
and
know, and then I need a fourth, huh? Let's see. I got Lemieux, I got Gretzky, I got Ovechkin, and I want to put Pavel Bure on there. I love
all
him.
right, fair enough. He's,
Yeah,
the Rocket, push him in there,
Russian
the
Rocket.
Russian
Well,
Rocket.
I mean, I got his autograph picture in my office here. I got
There you go.
lots of
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah,
stuff. I wear his jersey to the games. He's
yeah.
one of my all-time favorites. I don't collect a lot of his cards, ironically, but
Okay,
I got a few. I got some of
all
the
right.
top's finest stuff and a few other stuff, but it's hard to get a lot of the stuff. And he didn't sign for a long time, so
Yeah, he was hard to
auto,
get.
yeah, so auto stuff is. I
Mhm.
mean, I like Crosby too. I know everybody puts Crosby in there, but I like Ovechkin better. I don't know why. I
I'm
just do.
I'm with you there, Jay.
Yeah, yeah, good.
How
Okay.
about so you have a very vast collection of different card
Yeah.
sets and whatnot. Is there a set that you're like, it's not necessarily for me? Like I don't
Um,
want to say anything because I don't want to no
yeah.
leading the witness, Your
No,
Honor.
don't lead me into anything, but I would say SB game used.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I have the whole Spencer Knight nameplate in my office here, and it's worth nothing to me now because he didn't play for the Panthers. But I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, "Well, you might as well keep it. He's going to be a good
Yeah.
goalie." And I'm like, "He's a good goalie," but it was something to me when he came up with the Panthers, and I was going to collect that guy. I got so many
I got
Spencer
you.
Knight cards. But
Hmm.
other than that, I don't see a lot of value in the SB game used. There's just
Okay.
nothing that really stands out to me.
Yeah.
And other than that, let me see what other set do I not collect. I have a bunch of stature, but I'm not over the moon about it. Some people
Okay.
are.
Sure.
I like the same type of card more in a O-Pee-Chee Platinum or an Allure than like if you see some of the Allure designs, they're phenomenal. I have a Lundell Blue China. Most people haven't even ever seen that card,
Mm,
and it's phenomenal. And
yeah.
they're very well made, and they get tens and nines regularly.
Yeah.
So those type of cards. So yeah, but probably SP game used. I just don't think they've figured out that brand. You know,
Yeah.
and they
I
see
don't
game
disagree.
used, and it's all the manufactured patches. And 2 years ago, they had all that
No, no,
embroidered.
it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, Jay. You're lying.
Yeah, in 2 years ago, they had that embroidered stuff in there, and
Yeah,
SP
yeah.
game used. Yeah, so
Hmm.
I
How
just
about on
don't.
the flip side of that? Are there any sets from other designs or old IP from whether back in the Tops days or even Panini stuff or whatever, or
I
old
love
Upper
the
Deck stuff
Panini.
that you're like, I would love to have this back?
Yeah, I love Panini. In the 2013 National Treasures, if you could do that again, it would kick ass. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just phenomenal. The National Treasure stuff is awesome.
Hmm.
And I like the old Fleer Ultra stuff, so I'm liking the comeback of the Fleer stuff.
Hmm.
I like Fleer Ultra 2005, all the uh, Sid and Ovi stuff.
I
I
gotcha.
mean, they had the original medallions in there. They had the rookies, and they had the rookie golds and those stuff.
Hmm.
Those are phenomenal. So I like the old Fleer designs, and I like the Panini stuff from like 2013, 2012.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about well, you said your daughter met some players, but have you ever met a player that's featured in your collection or
I mean, I've met Barkov a few times,
okay,
a couple times, through events for ticket holders,
planned
and
events? Okay.
yeah, and then I've seen him out in public in a couple occasions too.
Hmm.
Being that close to the team, you see players on occasion, and they're not always recognized down here. They're becoming more recognized. It's not like walking through Edmonton for an Edmonton player, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and I think that's why some of the players like it too. They can have their own private, they,
Anonymity a little bit.
yeah, Kachuk has a party at his, not oceanfront. He lives on the intercoastal, but he has a party after the cup, and it's not a bunch of paparazzi there. One guy comes by in a boat and says, "Hey, look, Kachuk's partying with all the guys,"
Yeah, right.
and because they know where Kachuk lives.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
so just mostly through like season ticket holder stuff. to get interactions with hockey. Hockey dudes are like some of the best dudes. I mean, I met other sports guys, like some NBA players going to the Heat games and stuff. They're a bunch of douches. I mean, I can't say it another way. When you make that kind of money,
Uh-huh.
it's inevitably going to happen.
Yeah.
Some of these hockey guys, they're good dudes. When Zito got here, he was at my daughter's ice rink, and his kid was playing.
Oh,
And now my Bill Zito, I'm talking to the general manager.
yeah.
You probably know, maybe everybody doesn't, but
I haven't recognized the name yet, Zito. Yeah.
yeah, Bill Zito, he came. I met Luongo a ton of times that he goes up to the ice den with his kid
Nice.
plays goalie up there. Nicest guy in the world. Hey, Roberto, how you doing? Oh, good. How's everything? And oh, yeah, good. See him all the time up there. So it's pretty cool, that it's not like a million people wouldn't know it's Roberto Luongo. But
Yeah, you get that little bit of that social anonymity, and
yeah, he can go to the rink and coach his kid, who's a goalie, by the way,
and doesn't get bombarded. Yeah,
and he's not going to get bombarded by the local news and everybody
Yeah.
else. And can I get an autograph? My daughter didn't even want to go up and say hi to him. And she
Mhm.
was kind of scared. I said, go say hi to him. He's a super nice guy. She's like, that's
Yeah.
Luongo. That's Luongo.
Yeah.
First of all, I was proud that she knew who Luongo was.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Second of all, I was like, go say hi. So she
Yeah.
did, and she's like, Lou, and he's like waving, and
Yeah.
he's super cool. And with the kids, they're all phenomenal.
Oh yeah, they're great when it comes.
That's
to kids
another
that
thing I
young.
like about hockey. I mean, you don't
Mhm.
get that in other sports.
Yeah.
No.
Here's an interesting one. You're going to be the first person I ask this question, which I should have thought of this one before. So
Shoot.
if you need a minute, you can take a
I'm
minute.
good.
We'll consider it over. So, what's an opinion you have about the hobby that most collectors might disagree with you on?
That's an opinion I have about the hobby that most collectors
Yeah,
have.
like what's your hobby?
Okay.
Give me a hot take that you
Hot
believe
take.
in.
All right. My hot take is we touched on this before about the card I would design, that it doesn't matter to me if it's a sticker auto or an on card auto. I own just about as many sticker autos as I do on
Okay.
cards. And I know in hockey that's a big deal. But in other sports it doesn't matter.
No, I know. A lot
They
of them
don't
don't
care.
care.
It's an auto. So that would be it for me. And
Okay.
I don't. The other hot take is I don't think the box prices are that high. Sorry to say that, but I didn't want to pay for extended because I saw extended as being more out of the realm of what flagship is.
Mhm.
But as
Yeah,
far
it's
as
flagship.
you know,
There's no autos in there,
yeah, as far as the other cards
technically.
between $100 and $200,
Mhm.
it's reasonable.
Yeah, I think they're
in what the hobby is, and a
Yeah.
lot of people are not going to agree with that.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's priced out." I remember when it was $50.
Oh god, I remember that was my biggest culture shock, stopping when I was in my teens, late teens, starting back up again in my 40s, and I was like, "Wait a minute, it's not $35 a box anymore? What is this crap?"
Yeah, and when one pack is like $12.95,
Yeah, I'm like, "Wait," I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want the case, I just want the box." Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what the box costs. Like,
Yeah.
"Whoa."
So, I mean,
Yeah.
in comparison to everything else and
Mhm.
what gallon of gas cost or milk or whatever,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
that expensive.
Well, they've severely upgraded it. I mean, I'm not saying I wanted to do what it
Oh,
was
yeah.
because the quality is upgraded, whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I totally
I
understand
bought
that.
some
So,
I bought some old Panini Contender stuff,
mhm.
and I bought it because David Adams was trying to get rid of it, and I couldn't tell you who the people are that they advertise like 3 or 4 autos. I don't. It's still sitting in the same box over there. I
You're
just
like,
opened it and
oh.
threw it all back in the box and said, "This is garbage." So the stuff you get now with autos, it may be a rookie that doesn't make it, but it's a
Yeah.
rookie or a decent player. Some of these guys, I don't know if they ever played one game, and that was all 4 autos in the same box.
Yeah.
The same guy. So they have really Upper Deck has really upped their game and putting more
Mhm.
stuff in the boxes to make it worth the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting to the home stretch, but so before we get to the PC
Okay.
spotlight, I have some rapid fire questions for you. Okay.
Shoot. I'm ready.
So it's basically no thinking, just kind of hit me with the first thing that comes to mind, and you don't have to pontificate on it. It's just like a one or two word answer, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay.
Let's see how there's no wrong answers unless I
Okay,
say
good.
so.
I like that test.
All right, share with me one card you'll never sell.
Future Watch Auto Alexander Barkov.
Okay.
PSA
What's
9.
what's a card that you regret selling or trading? Got any of those?
Celebrini Outburst Silver. Although I got decent money for it, I kind of wish I would have kept it.
Okay. What's your favorite set or design?
Metal.
Okay. Most
Box.
overrated set?
Game used. SPG.
All right. What about most underrated set?
I think Allure. I think it's got some really nice cards and good inserts in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Raw or graded?
Have to say Raw.
All right. Favorite current player to collect?
Barkov.
All right. What's your biggest hobby pet peeve?
People yelling on whatnot.
And then who's your favorite player all time?
All time, Mario Lemieux.
Awesome.
Gotta
There
be.
you go. See, they make you think, but not too
Yeah.
hard. They're not too painful. But they're fun.
Yeah.
I try to make them fun.
I repeated a couple answers, so I mean,
That's all right.
We already got over a couple of those things. So I cheated.
We talked for an hour and a half plus already, and there's going to be some repeats. So
you didn't ask me about the books. I saw you ask the other guys about the books.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must have scrolled past. What you had?
That's fine, because I even thought about this one because I don't have time to read, but I listen to audiobooks when the podcast is over, which is like one drive for me. I got to listen to audiobooks. So I liked. All right, this may be a hot take too. Who's the Ken Dryden? I did not like. I thought the book was very dry, and I liked the Sean Avery book.
Okay.
And I don't know, that dude, something comes across about him like a George Brett or a Matthew Tkachuk or one of those guys that he's like out there, I think the guy wanted to be in fashion more than he wanted to be in the NHL, but he was just a dude that you either hated him or you loved him. I love that book. So, and then I read the Eruzione book about Miracle and stuff, and that was really good too. I recommend.
Yeah, I figured with the Eruzione, it's like I've seen Miracle, I've seen the documentary, seen the Russian documentary. I'm not gonna read the book.
Yeah, what else is I did audiobooks on all of them, but I couldn't get the Dryden, and that's probably a hot take because people love that book for some reason.
All right, that's cool. Hey,
he was kind of dry to me, I mean, just didn't do it.
All right, cool. And all right, well, let's get to our PC spotlight here.
Oh yeah, sure. I almost forgot about that. I've been
I know, right? So I've got some cards here set up for us to share of yours.
Yeah,
I love that you shared some throughout the episode, but let's do some of these here. I'm going to let you talk them and go through the process here and kind of share.
Okay, this one I traded with a friend of mine for I don't remember, a true rookie of somebody from Game Used, Leo Carlson, I think. Yeah,
this is the SB Authentic with
SB Authentic, Authentic Moments, Barkov and McKinnon, 1 and 2 picks. I don't have a lot of McKinnon auto, so I really liked it. I mean, I got a crap load of Barkov autos.
Yeah,
I really like this. Man. Yeah, and you don't see this card a lot, so I picked this up from him in a trade, and I really like that. That's one that probably won't ever leave my collection as well.
And who from Colorado decided to hand their number 1 pick a white jersey? Jeez Louise.
Yeah,
man.
I know. I mean, that's well, that matches him and McDavid's like temperament. They're like vanilla, plain. So
it's like, man, why did you hand the kid bring a colorful jersey to the thing?
I know they could have done.
That's a beautiful card, man. I love that.
I know.
I don't think I've seen one, and not that I didn't know they existed, but that's an awesome card. So
yeah, it is. I love it.
And then we got.
I pulled this one, and I graded it.
Surge Connie Bedsy.
Yeah, I pulled this one and I graded it, and I got a PSA 10. So this one's never leaving my collection. But funny story, Neil, I pulled a second one.
Did you really?
And I'm sending it to Slab Sharks this week because one is a 20 and this one got a 10. So I pulled a second one on e-pack. And I'm like, holy shit, I got 20% of the market. Sorry for my language, but I'm like,
You're right.
I couldn't believe it. And I said, oh, I'm going to send that one to Slab Shark. And I've been putting it off. So it's going this week to Josh with
There
some
you
other
go.
cards.
I
But I
love it.
pulled
That's
two of them.
awesome, dude.
Yeah. And I got
Corner the market on Emerald Surges.
yeah, I was over the moon getting two of those. And this one,
Wow, that's a
I
nothing.
saw this card on Slab Sharks and I said, I think I mega bid it because I'm like, I was at that game. I mean, I could barely stand up at this point, not from drinking, from excitement. And that was the game 7. It was 2-1, and we had just won first ever Stanley Cup. And I was just so excited. I never won anything in professional sports. And uh, even my wife looked at that and she's like, that's an awesome card.
That's
And I said, okay,
fantastic.
then I know I did all right.
Yeah,
She's like, that thing's
love that. Love
yeah.
that signature
And I love
renditions.
those renditions too. I got a couple other rendition cards that
It's
are
a
really nice.
beautiful card.
Yeah.
Beautiful card. Perfect for Panther J to have.
Yes, for sure.
I'm going to do this one here.
This one I pulled in a break, and it
You got
was a
your
redemption.
Crosby auto out of
Yeah, I just got it
15.
back
Yeah,
last
15.
month. I'm thinking about sending this one to grading because now I don't know because it is the cleanest stature thick card I've ever seen. Because it
Mhm.
came directly from UD to me, and I think Crosby's very careful with his stuff, and
Mhm.
it was super clean. He wasn't dropping any cards, so I might grade this one. I'm not sure, but I really love the card. It's probably my best Crosby card.
Nice. It's
Yeah,
a very, very good auto on that one.
yeah.
And then your last one that I have here in your photos. This is a
Yes,
good pairing, man.
yes. The Edmonton cards. All right,
Mm-hmm.
this one I just bought that canvas clear cut. I had been wanting one of those for a long time, and I was talking to a guy in Discord who was showing off a few of them from the different years. I think this is a 19, no, it's a 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you can still get it for a decent price. And I said, oh, it's gonna be $1,200. He's like, no, you can still get it for a decent price. So I put a good size bid in on Slab Sharks. They had a couple up, and I got it, and I was super happy with it. It was already graded. It was out of the clear cut. Once it's out of the clear cut, the little wrapper thing, then I think you should have to grade it. So
Mm-hmm.
because then there's some integrity lost. And then the McDavid, I got that one in a break. It was a random, and I got Edmonton, and I just got lucky.
There
So
you go.
I said two of the greats there. He would probably be my next one on Mount Rushmore. I hate to say it, but McDavid, he's that good. So
Yeah, I
I'll
love
try
it.
to do everything I could to keep him off of there. So
Plus, you've got like in this scenario. So this is what I like about this one is it's a good picture. Like you got it in a break. It's a
yeah,
good hockey action shot picture.
and it's a
Of
clean auto.
clean auto.
Yeah,
It's faded a little bit. You got a good picture. There's nothing worse than getting a horrible,
exactly.
version. Like I had a friend who gave me a couple expos ago. He asked me, he's like, "Hey, could you take this?" It was a black diamond obsidian McDavid
Mm-hmm.
101. Nice patch. It was textured and everything like that. It was from that oil gear logo.
Mm-hmm.
It was a black card, dark color patch, purple foiling, autograph. And I'm like, this. It was the worst one of one card I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you got a beautiful card. Great.
Yeah, it's not even
full
numbered or
hockey action
anything,
photo.
but I know it's an SP, and
Doesn't need to be numbered. That card's fantastic.
no, and it's on
Yeah.
card,
Mhm.
and the background is clean, and that's what I'm
Yep.
talking about in a nice background.
Yep.
When I was talking about designing the card, you don't have to have too much back there, but it's
Yeah.
it's SP Authentic is good at that, of having mostly white on the card, and that
Mhm.
way you can show off. Like even if you look at the clear cut a little bit, sometimes the Gretzky auto gets a little lost with the red, but in the
Mhm.
white from the SP Authentic, it's super clear that just looking at that, that's an auto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's funny that Gretzky is one that's like on my hit list. That's one of my cards that I'm trying to try to find somewhere
Okay.
someday somehow. Like
Yeah.
I'm searching for that one. It's on my save searches. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Slab Sharks like 3 weeks ago.
yeah, very nice.
Okay.
I didn't pull a whole lot because it's been crazy hectic, but I just pulled a couple unusual things, sort of. This one wasn't unusual. My card, the one here, is just a nice the NHL logo crest from O-Pee-Chee Platinum. I just
Love
like this
those.
is so
I love
classic.
those. Yes.
The die cut, so classic. They're fun. They're super hard to photograph.
Yeah.
They're so hard to photograph.
Yeah, I got a Caulfield rookie of that with the logo. They're great cards.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
love I love these the
Underrated
die
too.
cuts. Yeah, I think that at first my hobby hot take used to be that these were overrated, but I like it. It's just a good picture.
Yeah.
And then I forget if I shared this one, and I forgot to look at my notes. This was one that I was like, why is this? This one just kind of connected with me hobby wise. Oh, there we go. I just had to kind of. This is a metal card. It's from Beckett Media, and it was from the 2018 National Sports Collectors Convention. It's this metal cover of Beckett magazine.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a metal card. It's got some refracting to it. It's just such a very sharp, clean
Yeah,
card, and it
that's
just
awesome, man. I love that
yeah,
thing. I've never seen that before. Never.
yeah. I got it on ComC. It just says this is a from a scavenger hunt redemption set. It's renderings from the 4 inaugural covers of the Beckett Sports Monthlies, and it was
Ah, okay.
only 400 sets of the cards were produced. So this was just for promotion from a National Sports Collection in 2018. It's
That's
the
awesome.
Gretzky cover one. I just thought it was unusual enough, and I always love it. Because
Well, if you did share it before, that's one you could share again because that's an awesome card. I've never seen
yeah,
that before.
it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it. And then
Right.
because I subscribed to that was one thing that I subscribed to as a kid, Sports Illustrated and Beckett.
Yeah.
And then these are just kind of fun, quirky things. Box bottoms.
Ah, okay.
So I still have the boxes
Oh my
from
gosh.
Upper Deck. You get the Wayne Gretzky
Look at
pop
that.
out. And
That's
so this was the box bottom from the card. They
yeah.
have the card in this, but I had to have that. I got the box bottom. I don't care about the condition because these were on countertops,
Yeah.
but I wanted to have
I
this.
like that it's not cut out. I like that it has the whole box there.
Yeah, this one was still all together.
Yeah.
Still kind of lingering there. There's that one. This one is kind of damaged. So this is the US version.
Uh-huh.
I still got the box, but no top.
Hmm.
No top. But
Yeah,
this
and they
is
made that card into a buyback too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the one you have, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. Yeah. I might
But
have to
this is
look at
the
it now. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think it's that one. Yeah.
This is the 9091 US version. And then you can see the way they spelled center on
Yeah.
this one, the RE. This is the Canadian version. So again, just box bottoms. Again, just have I was, big in the 90s or in the 80s as a kid when you got those tops, the bottom of the box, the yellow cards with the yellow borders on the bottom. They
Yeah.
were like they were like the OG insert, like because very rare inserts.
Yeah.
So
Those are
I was
those are
always
super cool.
always big into just making sure I could collect. I count these as cards that if you're a Gretzky collector, you got to have.
Sure.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
whoa, I'm slinging this thing around. So yeah, just a couple little things, nothing crazy. I do enough of my content, and these episodes aren't about me, but I like to share a card or two
Yeah, no,
as
that's
well.
awesome. I didn't think I was going to see box bottoms today. That's great.
Yeah,
And you know
but
what? I mean, half the time you say, "Oh, I got a box bottom," and people don't really know what it looks like. That now you know exactly what it looks like.
yeah, it was literally attached to the bottom of the box,
Yeah.
and they were just jumbo size. Those ones,
And I
those
saw some of the old Beehive ones. They had
yep.
some of this like that too.
Yeah, though I love the tops when we were younger kids collecting them. When they're the tops and the O-Pee-Chees from the bottom of those was 4 different cards. Those I love.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are just fantastic. Like every time I see those,
I collected the Hostess ones where they had 3 baseball cards on the back, and they had
uh-huh.
little dotted lines, and you had to cut them
Yep.
out. Yeah, but I could never cut straight. So
I know I have some of those. I have Post cereal from I
yeah,
probably have a George Brett and a Ryan Sandberg without the
there you go.
unlicensed stuff. It's
Yeah,
very funny. So,
there you go.
but Well, this has been awesome. I appreciate you
Awesome,
joining
man.
me. But before we wrap up in closing, I want to give you an opportunity. Share a few thoughts, and we'll give you one other thing to think about. So, when it's all said and done, what do you want your collection to say about you as a collector or as a person in the hobby?
Well, I would like it to say that this is something that had fun collecting, first of all.
Hmm.
I don't want it to be like, oh, I mean, kudos to people that do it, but when they collect one super collector of a player, there's dedication in that. But to me, if I'm not into cards and I look at that collection, I'm like, okay, but it's the same guy, you
Hmm.
know. So it looked like, and then also that I had fun in it and that my collection evolved. You know, it evolved from collecting the napkin patch sweaters because they didn't have those in the 80s, and I thought that was awesome, to collecting these awesome copperheads and dark matters and all these strange, going back and finding these old Fleer, inserts that I never thought to collect before. So
Hmm.
that it evolved over time too, that it have a very big assortment of stuff and not just Panthers.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about what's a piece of advice you would give someone who's just kind of starting out in hockey card collecting? What's any advice you would give
Yeah,
someone?
definitely. Take some time before you start like diving in buying stuff because it's so easy to buy the wrong stuff. And
Hmm.
there's you know, card predators, whatever you want to call them. They'll sell you a rookie of some guy for $250, and it may look like when I first got back into it, I saw these star rookies of McDavid everywhere, and I
Yeah.
almost bought one, and I'm like, wow, that's such a fantastic price, $300, his Young Guns is 1,000,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and come to find out, Star Rookies is common, or where did it come from,
Hmm.
but do your homework and before you jump into just buying, you know. If you really want to buy something so you have it, but then kind of do your homework, jump into different forums that you see what you want to collect before you just throw money out there, you know. And
Hmm.
if you like ultra modern stuff, jump in a break. If it's affordable for you, you can look at some good cards of modern stuff that's coming out now, and then you can work kind of backwards, which is kind of what I did. I worked from 1819 to now, and then kind of working backwards.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
Awesome.
man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for
I
joining
appreciate
me
you
today and
doing it.
taking time out of your day,
Yeah.
sharing your passion with us. I appreciate it. Sometimes it's a little awkward kind of coming out and knowing that this is going to be out there on Discord, but I think
I'm
that's what
cool
makes
with
our
that.
community great, and you're helping
Yeah.
make our community awesome. So again, thank
I'll
you
keep
for
I'll keep
doing
posting. You keep making the episodes. How's that?
that. Sounds good to
And
me.
we're gonna see you at the expo before long.
Yes, you definitely have to come to the expo. If you're
I'm
going
gonna
to
get
be
there.
there, I'm going to be there the fall. If you can make it a way to get there,
All
you
right,
got
I'm
to
gonna
get
try
there.
to I'm gonna try to do that now.
Awesome. All
All
right.
right.
Well, thank you to everyone for watching and listening. Remember, you can catch new episodes right here on Discord and the Behind the Bench channel. New episodes are dropped usually on Tuesdays. And if you're on Instagram, feel free to follow me at Irish Flyers Collector. Jay isn't on social media yet as a collector page, but he's thinking about it. We're going to get him on there. So, but of course,
Yep.
you can reach out to either one of us and contact us here on Discord. I appreciate you spending time with us and listening to hear Jay talk about how he's collecting in the hobby. And just remember, you all keep collecting with purpose. Until next time, I'm Neil, Irish Flyers Collector. He's Panther underscore J, and you've been behind the bench.